Across the snow, south of town, all beneath the earth, there are caverns. An ancient city turned on its head. A broken bridge that leads to a mystery. A strange thing that's long been waiting. You have made your way down into those depths. Around you is the echo of your breathing, your heartbeat, the caves, the low drone of the earth. As you move deeper into those caverns, soon approaching the broken bridge that leads to the deeper tunnels beneath. Are there any last minute preparations that your group wants to make? You have your kobold prisoners gagged in tow. You squeeze and crawl and climb. Natural cave. It begins to become the old dwarf-made ruins.
What's the light source for other people who might need it?
I would suspect someone has a torch or something.
I have a lantern. I can look up what kind specifically.
No, Sal probably has some sort of light source out too.
Yeah, if I know that Sean said he'd be able to join around 8, so presuming, or 8:30 or something, so presuming Sal is with us, he also would have a light source?
Yeah, I mean, just about everyone's here. The Fedrians come with you as well.
Oh, really?
Dad came along.
I have a hooded lantern. I can look up the distance and vision when you need it.
No, the vibe is fine. So there's coppery light spilling out from Kabeth's lantern. It's carting your shadows along the walls as you move through the stone.
Yeah, when Casey showed up to meet everyone, he was dressed relatively different than he normally dresses every day. He had on like a long open jacket with a high collar and this like ornate pattern on the fabric. His cuffs turned up pristinely and folded perfectly in a way that you haven't seen him wear his clothes. His clothes are usually loose and free-blowing. And he has also a few bits of jewelry here and there that he doesn't normally wear on. And if you weren't mistaken, he might have like just the tiniest bit of eyeliner on. But yeah, he looks dressed up. And yeah.
Tried to arrive at some sort of like guy liner, but Janai liner. I never got there though.
Janus eyeliner.
That works.
Specifically waterproof, fireproof, every element you need.
Nice.
This is a settings question, and the other characters would know, but where we currently are in the ruins, how far away are we from where the priest was first seen, like time-wise?
Yeah, so in about 10 minutes, you'll reach the broken bridge. It's assuming you were to cross that, it'll take you another hour going down into the earth to reach the place where the last group had found what seemed to be a temple of some kind, forge.
Okay, I'm holding on to what I was thinking about then.
As we're moving through, Casey's shadow kind of dances through the caves across the rocks as the separate light sources move around, but it doesn't move like you think his shadow should, kind of moving independently of him, and he stoops under a low spot and says, "So, are we doing this at the bridge? Send one of those guys in to fetch the priest. Speak there." neutral ground.
Seems like a good a place as any. I mean, I'm here to back you up. Whatever you want to do. I mean, not whatever you want to do. You shouldn't do whatever you want because that could go really, really badly. But maybe do things within reason.
Yeah, I don't think we should delve too much deeper and find this priest all on our own. Why don't we send one of these kobolds as some kind of goodwill emissary saying, hey, you priest, come on over here to the broken bridge area and talk to us through a safe distance.
If we're going to do that, once we let the kobold go, I've got something that I've got a spell that I should throw on myself. Give me about an hour or so, and I should be able to see things. I should be able to see anything that is potentially sneaking up on us that shouldn't be able to sneak on us as easily. I don't know. I guess we'll see it. And I don't know. It kind of depends on how long it takes the couple to get the priest.
And you said you need an hour for that?
It can last up to an hour, give or take. But I want to hold on to it for as long as I can.
Oh, how long does it take to make is what I'm asking. Do you need us to
Oh,
give you some?
it's a quick spell I can throw on to
Oh,
myself.
all right.
Just a moment.
I don't know if it was one of those ones where you needed to focus or needed a couple minutes real quiet, and I was thinking maybe you should do that before we had kobolds attacking, but yeah, that makes sense. It's an hour-long spell, but you can use it whenever you need to.
Once we cut one of these two loose, depending on the paths they take, it may take them about an hour to get to the priest. Who knows how punctual he is? We may be waiting for a while.
Okay, so what message do you want him to deliver? Just think about what he's supposed to relay and yeah.
Summon him to talk to the king of Up, Casey. That's what they were saying, right? Up? And she'll make kind of a volcanic noise, just guttural in her throat, and it kind of sounds like the word up.
The kobolds look.
Right?
The kobolds like kind of perk and look at Peach with a moment of surprise.
Yeah.
So King of Up wants to have a parlay.
Short and sweet. I like it. Yeah, we'll keep this other one. In case the first one loses his way, huh?
Anna's goodwill, right? It'll show that we didn't let any harm come to this one, and that's what we promised, and it'll show that we're here on good faith.
Is there a Salinger here?
Yeah, I was able to join earlier than I thought.
Casey moves through a tighter spot between rocks, and his cloak catches on one of the rocks, and he pauses straight away. Glances over at Sal. I don't think it ripped. Backs up the way he came, turned a bit more, slides through.
Well, better not. You gotta look like you're as important as you're gonna act.
I'm not used to wearing this much, it's... I gotta relearn my...
Now, it's all about confidence. They have no idea the cultural practices of Up or anything about it. Didn't they not know about daylight even? The diurnal cycle of it all? You could say that the tradition is to have ripped robes and boogers dripping down your face, and they wouldn't know any different. I mean, you look great. Not saying you don't, but I wouldn't worry if you get a little scuffed up on the way.
Yeah, Casey grins a bit at Peach, saying he looks great, and he says, well, I mean, this is thanks to Sal and Ez, actually. They caught me this morning.
Oh, well done, Salinger. And Esmond, too.
Well,
And
he was planning on just walking into this thing wearing studded leather armor like he was ready to pick a fight. You can't have diplomatic discourse when you're looking to take a few arrows and walk away from it. Not just
And
confidence, but also an air of, I was going for authority. Anybody else getting authority?
oh, I'm getting authority, and I'm getting that eyeliner, something Casey should wear all the time. That's real authoritative.
Ava has been untying the prisoner as they've been speaking.
Yeah, it's, does Casey still have his armor underneath Sal? I don't know. I don't know what we did.
I think that would have been Ez's call because I asked him along to be the practical voice, as I
What?
tend to get a little overzealous with form over function from time to time.
What happened?
Well, are we fading? What's happening?
I wasn't sure. I was like,
It only works if all of us do the squiggly hands at the same time.
okay. Earlier that morning,
Casey nips out of his house wearing his studded leather armor, kind of dressed, ready to move. Typical fare. And cuts down a side alley, moving towards the place where they're to meet. Turns the corner.
And he sees Sal dragging a very beleaguered, a little bit tired looking Ez that seems to be focused on anything but what Sal's trying to tell him. We can't just let Casey walk into this mess without giving him some sort of pointers before we go through. For all we know, he's going to go in there just wearing his torn shorts topless and cut backflips while he's speaking ignorant and draconic to these guys.
Casey skids in the dirt in front of them. I wish Mose made me put this on, and he kind of yanks at the leather armor, constricting around his neck, and he's like, "Yeah. I mean, you think I don't need this, right?" So, as
You don't need to have it visible.
I mean, you definitely need armor. I really don't know why I'm here. You guys have seen what I wear, Sal. I don't fashion.
It's not about fashion. It's about, you're here for function. Everything about you says function. Everything on you always has a purpose.
So just
I
let him
want to
wear
give
his
an
armor.
impression. Yeah, okay, but look, and Sal pulls a long, like knee-length, kind of really dark, deep red coat with some like gold pattern trim on the shoulders and on the cuffs. Try this on. Pull the collar up. It's going to add to your existing height. You're going to look bigger. You're going to look more powerful. You're going to look more important.
he kind of pulls it up and shakes out the fabric. Yeah. This might work, and he throws it around himself with a swoosh and drapes it over his shoulders. It's yeah, fits nice.
All right, well, no, that ain't going to quite do. He starts tinkering around and jingling through a bag and pulls out a couple of rings, some bracelets, maybe a necklace as you try some of them on.
Is all that really necessary? But we don't. I mean, I get it. We want to project an air of authority and I guess royalty, but do they know what royalty looks like? At least our royalty?
I mean, Casey has walked over to one of the windows of the house and is kind of looking in it to see his reflection. I mean, royalty is what we tell them it is, yeah? They don't need to know our culture to respect it.
Well, Lux is so agrarian in our customs and dress. There's got to be something in part of this that lines up to some notion they might have. You ever hear any of the stories of Victorian the Voice? Famous orator, famous speech teller. It ended an entire war just by saying the right words, standing on a tower and looking pretty.
That's not how Gilgame told it.
Gilgain
Says-
always skips over the fun parts.
No. This sounds good. Say more.
All right, look. So there was one kind of famous line that was in most of the retellings and the versions of the story, not the boring Gilgain one, but it was, hear me, see me, know me, and follow. That's the kind of cadence that we want when you move. Say something that, say anything in Ignorant that sounds with an air of command.
Yeah, that's good.
What about that thing you did with your, can you light up when you talk a little?
I mean, yeah, he kind of pulls his shirt back, and I mean, I brighten a bit if I get heated. Does this really need the sleeves? Can I just cut these off? And he pulls a dagger out of the air. Because they're kind of restrictive.
Yeah, but you see how I'm talking with my hands here? Watch my sleeve as it moves when I say something like, hear me. And it kind of whips a little. It's part of the communication.
Right, but he also, I don't think, can function without his arms exposed. Just what if we just like punch a minor hole in like the underarm or something that he can pull at to if things get troublesome, he can pull off the sleeve
Ooh,
and fight.
some starter slits in case I need to tear it off of me. Yeah, that's
I,
good.
in a word, yeah. I don't know, Sal. You're the expert on this.
It would be
Seriously.
very effective for punctuating something like that line that you had.
Yeah, sure. I think it's a different kind of show, guys.
Didn't the voice get shot by a loose arrow from one of his allies and lost the ability to speak after that speech?
It was a crossbow bolt through the left collarbone. Okay, it didn't have a happy ending, but that's not the point. The example to follow is more about the gesticulation, the posture, the pose, and if you want to make it a tearaway jacket so a fight breaks out, so be it. But it really kind of defeats the whole point that we need to believe what we're saying when we go in there. If you're already planning for things to go sideways, it probably will.
There's nothing wrong with planning for things to go sideways. The air of believability still exists, but after last night, we gotta have precautions before we go in there.
Casey has his arm up and is using the dagger to kind of just nick a few of the threads that are holding
maybe
this part
Sal
here.
should do that. Maybe Sal should do that.
He's visibly wincing as you start to do it, and then he doesn't snatch at your hand because he doesn't want to catch the dagger, but keeps reaching towards you, waiting for you to stop so he can get your wrist and kind of take care of it.
And he flips the dagger around in his hand and hands it to Sal.
And he puts the dagger away. And
It dissipates as soon as he touches it.
And then he grabs a simple thread puller that he pretty much always has on him, and he just clips a few of them, enough that you could pull it away, but without a weird gaping flap under your arms.
Gotcha.
Though there probably is already a bit of a gaping flap under one of the arms, but it's too late to
He was
recover
being careful.
that. Okay. All right. Well, Ez is exactly why I brought you along. Your thinking sense, I'm get my head caught up in the way things ought to turn out sometimes. But Casey, what's really important is how do you feel?
He turns back to the window, kind of moves his hair a little bit, just one little strand, but the rest of it is just a wild quaff of red fire. It's like, yeah. No, this is gonna be good.
All right, just let me fix that one ring there, and I'll be on your pinky and not your middle finger. We can go. Hold on. Hands.
As we're fading out, Casey says, but what if I have to flick him off?
Return to the moment. You're coming around the corner that spills out onto the large broken stone bridge, a great chasm that drops down into unseen water beneath. The last time you were here, there were arrows and spells flying, death and wounds, and for a moment a glimpse of a robed iron dragonborn on the far side that had marked your faces with this one good eye. But now it's dark and empty aside from the light from Gabeth's lantern that sweeps across the walls. Ava's unbound your two kobold prisoners. And like, oh.
Just one, right?
Just one? Two? You tell me.
Just one. Just one.
You unbind the one of them. Stretches his jaw out a little bit. Looks around, sniffs the air, and looks to all of you.
Casey turns to him and straightens up, kind of looks down at his new threads and starts to speak in the kind of ignorant, draconic amalgamation that he's used to talk to these two. We need you to go to fetch the priest. I wish to parlay.
King of a talk priest.
Can you get him? Tell him to meet us here. We need to speak.
He looks at each of you and nods and moves towards the edge of the broken bridge and looks around, looks at the walls. And says, I'll go.
Is the rope is gone?
If I remember correctly, the last time you guys were here, you cut it.
That's right. The robot threw it into
No,
the
it was Typhon tore it on our end, and then I used a firebolt to blast the other end.
All right, so we're looking at a chasm that
I
has
didn't
no
break
way
the
of
rope
getting
at all.
across.
Yeah, the kobold says, whilst to see, can't climb.
We've brought a rope.
Shalanti's covered in ropes. She's just nothing but
course.
ropes. She's the Michelin man of ropes.
Says Casey speaks to the kobold. Hold fast. We'll run a rope.
And before too long, a rope with a grappling hook's been thrown across. Eventually catches on the other side and pull it taut. And the kobold looks at each of you and says, King of it, talk, priest. Grabs onto the ropes and starts.
And he says, to be clear, tell him to come for parlay, not for war.
Talk. And the kobold vanishes across the ropes. And instead of going to the large entrance to the opposite side, he kind of goes down under it a little bit and It's just one of the cracks there.
Peach kind of looks sideways at Casey. What was that one? The word we need to talk? Is talk?
Yeah,
Not negotiate, not something special? Just talk.
yeah. Talk,
There is
not
no word
war.
that means like talk more peacefully. I think maybe we shouldn't have said
No.
war.
I mean, even just talk is kind of laced with violence and ignorance, so it's, yeah. We'll just have
So
to be
was it
ready for,
was a talk or else, but there's no other way to say it.
yeah, kind of the nature of the language, but I imagine he'll get there quicker than we did. We just want to be ready for when they come.
So, I guess we get ready for however much time we have to kill. And Casey, if you're gonna be talking to him in that weird language, like, should you or Esmond or something, like, should we have a signal in case, negotiations break down or something to be ready? Because I won't know what none of us will, well, not all of us, some of us will not know what you're talking about at all. It just
Well,
sounds like nothing.
I'm learning a bit, so maybe I could be our go-between. If Casey is talking with whomever, the priest, and if Ez is with him, then I could at least eavesdrop a little and tell you all. I don't know exactly every single word or cadence, but I could tell you if things are going good or bad.
Okay. So,
Yeah, I have something for that too. I've done with a few of you before. Kind of glances around at each of you. Quickly glances past Shalati. Yeah, so those of you that don't speak or speak it or may not understand, I can make it so that you can talk to me without talking, you know.
Sounds good.
okay.
I'll do it once he's been gone for a little bit, but when the time comes.
Under the assumption that it'll take him the same amount of time that it took you and the same amount of time for them to get back, you have about 2 hours to sort of plan and prepare.
Okay.
Yeah, Doc, Sal, Bethel. I'll end up making so you can talk to me. Each and as you should be able to follow along enough to know if things are going south. We can come up with a word to kind of clue you two in as well if we need to pivot.
Chris, can you throw up like a map or something if you have one or something, just so to see what it looks like?
Yeah. Give me one second.
Yeah, okay. Thanks.
I mean, I know Araya wants to make friends, but what do we want to get him to do? I say make him leave.
No. I remember that you said that, but like, you can't do that. Well, I mean, maybe, but like, okay, for negotiations, right? Like, think of it this way: if they came up into our place and said we had to leave, or else they would fight us, we would fight them. So like, we don't want that. So if we tell them they have to leave, and like in terms of where they have to fight, think of it this way: they don't really know our strength yet. I mean, I know that we want to project that or show that, but they do know the things that they're afraid of, and if they don't kill those things, and if they're more afraid of those than us, then like if we give them that ultimatum again, they'll like come after us. So that'd be bad. And if we are like really scary, if like Casey, you're like really intimidating and like convince them that we're worse than the other things, if they go and fight the other things but they die, then we don't have like there are 3 levels. There's like us and then like them and then some other stuff. And if they die, then there's nothing between us and whatever those things are. So like they're kind of a buffer right now. Like the best outcome is kind of a stalemate, like where they just leave us alone and we leave them alone, I think.
Well, let's not make it look like that's what we're going for, though. Let's start by saying get the hell out, and then we can negotiate down to everybody stays in their own little place.
What if they say okay and then just return to their home and plot to kill us all in our sleep? I mean, they have the numbers, we don't.
I think that like the best would be to somehow convince them like we're super strong and they don't want to fight us, but like we don't care like at all. They can keep doing what they're doing. We just are going to establish territory. Like where we are now on this side and up is like all us. Like that's us. And they can't come into it. And then everything below that, it's all them. And then where we establish boundaries.
But Ava, what if they call us on that bluff?
And we
Mm,
We're
kill them.
screwed.
The first ones that come across the line, they're dead.
It's
I
not
mean,
a
we've got.
bluff.
yeah. I mean, why don't
We were the home invaders, not them. We're trying to restore peace here and not have them kill us in our sleep because they have the numbers to do that. We can't fight them all off if they come all at once. Killing them one at a time doesn't seem feasible. I mean, they feasibly have. We know that they have other entrances to leave from. We don't know how far away they are. They could be close. They could be really far. Like, we could block this one and it wouldn't matter.
But also, these kobolds, Kabeth, the 2 that we've got, are the only ones that have ever come against us and lived. So, as far as the rest of the kobolds know, we're undefeatable badasses.
it's
Well,
like a,
I it could that might be an interpretation. I feel like if we come at this with with agitated expectations, agitated in the sense of like we want them gone or we want them to listen to us, instead of trying to come to the table of 2 respecting, understanding parties, we're kneecapping ourselves.
no, but like we think about, you have to remember the lessons we're taught about negotiation, right? Like what you're talking about negotiating would be like how I would want to negotiate. But like they talked about strength and power, right? Didn't they say that's the reason they followed the priest?
that's the reason they follow the priest, but that might not mean anything to the way the priest communicates with
Oh,
others.
okay. That's a good point. Yeah, maybe that's true. So you think that'd be a better tactic to like be
I
I,
don't know. I'm somewhere between Kabeth, Ez, and Araya's point of view. I think we'd be better off with friends than enemies,
yeah. I mean, we don't.
especially if
We
they
can
know these
still.
tunnels.
We can have both. We can say, "Hey, we didn't need to invade your space. We were checking out what was down here. Things got heated. People died. We're sorry. We want peace again. But if you don't keep the peace, then we're gonna kill you."
Yeah,
But don't say that they have to leave their own home.
I
That's
didn't say that.
unreasonable. Well, I'm talking to everybody.
Oh, okay.
Don't she gestures broadly at the group and not just at Ava. No, like, you know, like say we didn't mean to bother them. They can keep doing their thing. We can keep doing our thing, and then say we have already shown our power by only leaving these 2 kobolds alive. And if we don't want more fighting, but if you come attack us, we will defend
Yeah,
and we will wipe them out.
yeah,
And
that's just
maybe if
But don't tell them they have to leave.
and maybe
okay.
if things go really well, they could act as guides and maybe show us some of the tunnels and let us explore those dwarven ruins so we don't have to never see them again.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
more
really
we can
think we
importantly,
should push our luck
deliver
on that one.
other. I mean, if they have, if we find commodities that they want that are not sacrifices, then we could offer something in trade as well for future cooperation and peaceful living.
They do have stuff that we might want, actually. They have food.
Casey's just glancing at the inside of the lining of this jacket while all this is going on. Doesn't really
Ava,
seem like he's paying too close attention.
Gibeth punches you in the shoulder and says, "Are you paying attention?"
No, I got it. I have
Do
it under
you?
control.
No. That's not what I asked. Are you paying attention to what we're saying collectively, or are you just going to ignore us and do your own thing?
Well, it's Casey. I think you already know your answer to your question.
Ava?
He's gonna do his own thing.
Casey.
wait, can we cycle back to Ava saying that the kobolds have resources such as food? Because if I recall, there was a big giant pile of humanoid skeletons. I don't think I want the food they're eating.
Well,
That
no,
is a
but they're
cultural
also
rift we're going to have to cross at some point, I think.
Right, I'm
But
just saying it's
that's
not a
not what
valuable
they're
trade
eating.
resource for us.
That's not just their food source, probably though, because like, think about like where we are right now, right? There's no sunlight. If all they ate was like animals, there's not enough animals probably to sustain them, I don't think. And they're obviously they eat plants as well, because we know that because they were stealing plants to eat from the surface. So more than likely there are plants down here that grow, and that probably is what I was thinking that maybe could.
Sure, that's all well and good, but Ava, first of all, you're making assumptions about what they need to eat for food sources, but also B, let's just work on negotiating some peace before we try to shoehorn trade into that.
Oh yeah, I wasn't
I think
suggesting we should try to trade, just saying that I think they probably have food.
I think the goal that we should aim for is just to convince them that we don't want to fight them, and we should convince them that they don't want to fight us. And if we can leave on those terms without anyone invading anyone else's space, I think that would be the ideal. And if we want to try and ally with them, maybe we can discuss that. But I think the priority should just be making sure no one else has to get hurt any further.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's like what everybody said. Except
We
Casey.
did-
Remember the
Casey.
stretch goals.
One more point. It it's just something that the kobolds mentioned during their interrogation. Um, they are attacked by big lizards and spiders. If they're being hounded by something that they can't handle, we could also potentially offer our services to as a means of appeasing them and bartering for peace. It's just an idea. I'm just throwing it out there.
I see
Mm,
what you're saying. I feel like we do not need to add another chore to our giant chore of monsters to take care of.
Hmm,
But I see what you mean.
yeah, good call. It has the thorn in that beast's paw. Now I remember that from the shadow play. If we pull that out, might endear him to
maybe.
us. Not bad.
I mean,
Maybe avoid the metaphors when we're talking to the kobolds, though. Okay, so keep it short and simple. Let's
Also,
not kill one another.
I don't know if we should offer to do that though. I mean, that sounds really dangerous. And
Oh no, we don't offer. We wait for them to ask us. It's a bargaining chip we can use or we don't use.
Precisely. It's not something that we come out with. But if things are turning sour, maybe throw that out there and bring the negotiations to a lull. I don't know.
well, I can't do very much. She's looking across the chasm now. There's actually, I mean, maybe hopefully they can't do much to us, but I can't do almost anything from this distance.
Well, at least two of us can make this jump.
She looks at Sal. Impressive.
Sal's been looking at Casey and he kind of mutters to himself, I'm so jealous we get to do this.
Casey steps closer to the edge there and looks out over and he says, I mean, we've already learned one good thing. They
What's that?
can't go across here, not without a bridge or a rope.
It's a really good point. That could be something that we can use in our favor. if things get real bad.
Yeah. Is it all right that I'm excited?
Hell,
I'm a little excited about this.
you're not supposed to be excited, Sal. You're supposed to keep me calm. You told me don't leave your side and be your little shadow and stick close to you. And now you're saying you're excited to fight some kobolds?
Not fight, the conversation, meeting people from only heard about in history is not even that much.
I'll relay in your mind what's going on. It's gonna be good.
But we got over an hour. Anything else we ought to do?
Yeah, if things go bad, I guess we just run? Or what are we doing?
What
I
was
mean,
the thing
my
is
hammer's
you said you
ready.
could...
And, well, I got my hammer ready if things go bad, but I mean, I got something we can do now if you want. And she opens up one of her side hip pouches and pulls out a little square of cloth and lays it down, and then takes out some like food and starts laying out like little packets of food and handing things around to people. Have a snack.
Thank you. I'm too nervous to eat right now. I'll eat it later. Can I save mine?
I guess so.
Peach will help herself to a little bit of the food. She'll circle around until she gets close enough to Ez, and then she'll sort of hip check him, but gently, trying to get his attention without the others.
He's down on one knee, actually, futzing
Then she
around
pokes him
with
with his foot.
Typhon. Yeah, so you hip check him and you hip check his shoulder, and he
No,
scrambles a little bit.
if he...
Okay.
Fine. I'm sorry, as I cut... I didn't mean to throw you off balance. I want to say I'm sorry for last night, for yelling at you and harassing you and chasing you through town and all that. None of that was your fault, and that was just unkind of me. I'm real sorry.
He kind of he fixes himself and goes back to the kneeling position he was at before, looking up at you, and he doesn't respond at first. He's just kind of looking over you, and then just turns back to Typhon and says to you while continuing his work, "It's fine. I deserved it," and just keeps working.
Let's see
She
the. Go ahead.
knits her brow and kind of gives him like a concerned look, but she steps away, leaves him to his work.
Yeah, you see Thedrian studying the interior of the cave. The different outcroppings of rock in the bridge on the far side. Yeah,
Ava's gonna walk out onto the bridge and kind of look out over the edge, and then probably take a step back with a little bit of vertigo, like whoa, and then just start like looking around and like tapping her foot on it. She's just testing and like trying to examine this extension portion.
it doesn't collapse as you tap it with your foot.
That's good.
DM, how dark is it in this cavern? I know that for those of us with dark vision, it's easier to see, but for creatures without dark vision, if there's no immediate light, is it just pitch black essentially?
Oh yeah, it would be pitch black here were it not for like the lanterns and things like that.
Okay, Zephyrus is just flitting around then, and after an hour and a half passes, if you would let me know, please.
Okay, sounds good.
Casey walks to the edge and snaps his fingers, and a ball of flame erupts into his hand, and he kind of looks into it, rolls it around a bit, and throws it down into the chasm, just to watch it go down to the bottom.
Yeah, it falls hundreds of feet. And for just probably a brief moment, you see fluctuations against water down far below.
on the opposite side, is there anything above the area to the west of the map, like vertical things that could be perched on or anything?
No. Basically, where but the edge of the map is essentially like sheer rocks, and there are some outcroppings and stuff like that, but don't worry about that.
Okay.
Don't fall in, Doc.
Yeah,
There's water down there.
there's water down there? Huh. Well, how long do you think we should wait before, like, the earliest they might show up? Because I want to cast something too, but like,
Well,
should we wait an hour or?
it'll be telling how punctual they are.
Also, how long does it take you to get it ready? I mean, if you only need a minute or so, we could just say, hey, here they come, do the thing.
I guess that's true. All right, I guess I'll wait closer to that when we hear something.
Let me know when you guys are ready to pass some time. When you finished your preparations.
AC is basically just standing out on that platform, staring down into the blackness and over to across the way, just kind of hanging out there.
I guess just pacing a little bit, sort of walking around and looking at stuff, and much of anything.
Okay. Yeah, so in terms of like immediate preparations, you guys feel good?
I think so.
I think so.
Good Beth. It's been more than an hour. You've made it through a lot of your snacks. The sound of the water beneath, the flow of the crashing of water against the rocks hundreds of feet down, the sound of your friends' voices, all of it slowly begins to feel as though it's growing farther away, muffled, distant. You become aware of the sound of your own heart beating. You become aware of the sound of your own breathing. Maybe it's just a coincidence. Maybe it's the way the water down below is pushing the air in this chamber. You can almost feel, almost hear this other cavern on the far side is breathing. So the world itself is breathing in time with your breaths. You begin to feel strange sensation, but this is the same thing you'd felt in the forge. But somehow this is closer. And each of you begins to just barely see a bit of light beginning to form on the far wall inside the archway. Coppery light fire. And each of you becomes aware something is approaching as small glittering eyes begin to peer in the dark as kobolds begin to emerge from the crevices and the cracks along the walls. You see a few of them skittering up from the far side. So you have a bit of a warning that people are beginning to arrive if you wanted to cast spells.
Go ahead.
You've
It's no flavor. I just put it in there. Yeah, Ava sort of seeing this sort of stands up from probably having like sat down for a second and cleans herself off. making some brief hand gestures. She channels and aligns some energy within herself, causing small waves of energy in front of her. And then, out of seemingly almost out of nothing, this sort of light coalesces into those heat waves and then turns into an owl. It's Professor Who, who then begins sort of flap, walks up onto the edge of this little thing, and then takes flight, and will start to fly around a little bit closer to the other side.
As lights and eyes begin to flitter around, Esmond's going to, startled, stand up from where he was kneeling with Typhon and flip his wand in his hand, and the end of it begins to light up, and he brings it to one side of his forehead and drags it across, and a series of yellow lines almost look like begin cracking across his forehead before they uh, disperse and absorb into the skin, and his eyes change color from their usual incredibly bright blue to a bright green, and I've cast see invisibility on myself.
Nice.
And I've also gathered Zephyrus and have him underneath my poncho, and I'm standing side by side with Typhon.
Pete notices Ava conjuring up a bird and goes, "Damn, my stupid chicken didn't do any of this."
Kabath is all. Oh, Salinger.
His only preparation is to straighten Casey's collar, lapel, and touch up a few things. He's been fidgeting a little bit too much and has messed up his wardrobe.
And you see Vithedrian, he kind of pulls his rifle around from his shoulder. He's not standing up in the front. He's near the rear wall. Casey's taking the foremost position up on the bridge. Casey, were you going to say something?
Yeah, just as Salinger's doing that stuff, Casey is kind of shaking out a little bit and just cracks his neck twice. All right. Think so.
And Kabath, as all this happens around you, you're aware of it, but just barely. The feeling of everything around you becoming distant, the punctuation and the presence of the moving air, almost the feeling of the heartbeat of the world itself has filled your ears. You realize that whatever you've been feeling in your forge, you're closer to it now. It's not here in this place you are. It's deep beneath the earth. And everyone sees as the light flares out through the archway. You see two figures unlike the kobolds emerge. One of them almost 12 feet tall, covered in plates of armor. The other one large for a humanoid creature like you, but not nearly as large as the other, begin to emerge through that large archway. You hear a voice. You hear it, most of you hear it rumble, like the earth itself, like flames, like embers burning in a fire. Casey, you're able to pick up the words, the strange language that these kobolds speak. And Pete, you're able to pick up little edges of it, not everything, but a word here and there, or maybe something close to it. Brave you must be to live so near the sky. What faith you must have, and always will this world embrace you. They say the king of the sky has come. The pact of the Greymane has been broken. Twice now, You have come into the deep. What do you want?
When they first appear around the corner, and the hulking 12-foot creature comes through the opening, Casey raises an eyebrow and says under his breath to Aurea, "You didn't say he was enormous." He swallows a little harder and waits for them to approach and say that. And he nods and steps forward to the edge of the platform. "You speak with Orthocles Feldspar Calcio of the surface, as you call it. We agreed to no such pact of the Grey Mane, and therefore could not have been in violation of it. Furthermore, those that dwell down here have come to the surface and taken some of ours on at least one occasion. We've come here to speak in good faith. Perhaps restore this pack of which you speak. Do you wish to parlay?"
There's a long pause. You see the dark, almost obsidian eyes. This beast of a dragonborn, skin almost seems like iron ore itself beneath the crude plates of armor, scanning each of you. You hear the voice. "I will hear your words, though be it known to you that your people came into the deep, seeking the treasures of the earth. And for it they have food, and for it they have burned.
That may well be. And we hold no ill will for what happened to those who came before us. We're here only to speak of a truce, if you'll have it. We have no need for what dwells down here. And if you have no need for what dwells on the surface, then we can come to an accord. As men of honor, I will take you at your word if you give it, and I hope you will do the same for me. But know that any violation of that word will be met with the full force of those who dwell on the surface. And there is no fire in this planet that burns as hot as we do." And at this, Casey kind of puffs up and brightens, and the wind whips around his hair. And he stands there at the edge of this chasm, his flames wreathing around him and lighting up the deep pit before him. And he stares dead at the two across the way.
This creature watches you, and you can see the shift in his posture as he draws in a breath, studying you as you glow into fire. You hear him respond. "We have no need for your sky. We have come to seek the embers of old, await the voice of the flame long sleeping. venture not into the earth, and again we will have peace.
Casey still stands there, flaming, two balls of fire crackling in his hands, and he turns back to the group, the fire flickering in his eyes as he looks back at them, and he grins. Then he turns back. And peace we shall have.
Quiet as he watches you. And then you hear his voice again. Love along your sky while you can. Soon enough, this world will be remade.
By one of us. Yes, it will. Farewell, priest. Till we meet again.
You hear the clanks of the armor, the impacts of his weight on the ground as turns. And just as simply as he'd come, moves and vanishes through that doorway, and the light begins to... The coppery light of flame begins to fade from the archway, and one by one the glittering eyes of the kobolds vanish back into the cracks.
Casey pulls a knife out of the air, turns back to the kobold that's still tied up, walks over to him and cuts his bonds, nods to him, and then moves him towards the rope.
There's only just a few little glitters of eyes remaining on the distant rocks as he looks back at each of you and then climbs onto the rope, skitters across, and then all the eyes are gone, the glow is gone.
Not bad negotiating there, Your Majesty.
Casey is still bright and hot. If you're anywhere near him, you can feel the heat just emanating off of him.
Esmond actually walks right up to you, so he's feeling that heat, but it's getting blown off by his own natural air currents, and he just kind of elbows you in the arm. Nice work.
Look at that fire. It's all for show. We all know that he kept a cool head.
Casey holds a finger up. Let's get back to the surface. Then we can discuss it.
Yes, sir,
Let's
my
take this rope
liege.
back. Let's grab that rope too. Make sure we don't leave any potential of them coming back.
We did it!
He's achieved. Good job.
So watch for the surface. Wait till the surface, Doc.
Surface first. Surface first.
I can't believe they bought it. They're so much stronger than us.
Ava, shut the fuck up!
Just kidding.
I toss her into the pit.
So recovering your rope and your grappling hook, heading back through the tunnels. Before too long, the clammy air and the humidity of the deep is gone, and you're met again with the crisp cold of an early winter. As there's a bit of daylight coming down through the tunnels. You've gotten far enough away to where you feel confident. Unless followed you, they're certainly not going to hear you.
Speaking of, I'm keeping an eye out. I still have see invisibility cast.
Okay.
So if anything invisible and comes at us in the next hour, I'm on it.
Sounds good. The Thedrian's pretty quick to speak once you guys have moved away in order to talk. And he says, what did you learn about what they want? Are they here? Are they a threat to us?
They're no threat to us. They simply wish to toil underground with their forges.
Yeah,
They're not
how's
going to
that
bother
all
us
end up
anymore.
this way?
Gave their word that they won't bother us anymore.
And Kabath, it's really only now as Lycon Bunch.
Oh my god.
Kabath, it's really only now as you guys have gotten back to the surface that whatever feeling that came over you is gone.
She makes a mental note and does not say anything to her friends.
Yeah, he gave his word. They won't bother us. We don't bother them.
Why did they attack our people? Did they give a reason?
They claimed we came down there first, wasn't that it? They said that we'd gone in. It was that plural. It was a plural, right?
Yeah, they
People
spoke
from
of
up, plural.
a pact of the Gray Mane. Something they said we broke by coming down there, but
The Cedrian kind of squints a little bit and says, Gray Man. And actually probably Kabath and Salinger. That name actually rings a bell to you. That's the name of an old dwarven king who used to rule in this area 600, 700 years ago? The earliest?
it's also notable that Casey is answering these questions to everyone but a Thedrian.
How? Really?
No, you mean like you mean like making eye contact
Oh,
and talking
okay,
to everybody,
okay.
right?
I hear what a Thedrian is saying, but I'm addressing other people when I'm giving this information.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was
Just,
That was
just to be clear, I put my hands over his ears. It's packed.
Yeah.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
I gotcha.
we turn out. We all ignore him.
Yeah, so I think we're good.
I didn't say anything about the World Forge or just remaking the surface and fire coming out of the ground or anything.
I mean, it didn't really come up, but they kind of. I mean, he mentioned that, but that's just part of the, the back and forth.
Yeah, if we
He
took
says they're going to remake the world. I say we'll crush them beneath our feet. And it's just part of the negotiations. It's not something
everybody's
to
got a religion has a world ending thing to it too. Anyway, it's
exactly Peach, and he gestures to Araya as well.
Mm-hmm. She's not here to defend herself. This is the perfect time for us to do this.
Once the maiden comes forth, once the maiden comes forth, we'll all be destroyed, crushed beneath her radiance, I'm sure.
I mean, don't y'all think it's all a little bit real? Like, I bet the maiden's real for Araya. Certainly seems to work when she prays.
There.
I mean, something's definitely given me my powers, and yeah, lots of real things exist that have power out there. You never know.
This is great though. Like they're not gonna bother us, and we don't like. Do we have to do it? We don't have to do anything. We don't have to like help them or anything. We just leave them alone, and they leave us alone, right?
Let's
Yeah.
spread some news through the town about how nobody should go exploring around here. We don't go poking our nose. Like, we need to make sure that folks know not only that, oh, the ruins are off limit because they're dangerous, but hey, we've met an aggressive group of folks here, and don't go under danger.
Sounds like we should take our own advice. She kind of side eyes those of you who went down there first.
Sal shows no sign of embarrassment or shame.
Ditto.
All right. So on to the next checklist item. What do we have on the adventure list?
Well, your shield isn't done for another what, 5-6 days, I think, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Hey,
crap. We have to do that stupid fish thing, don't we?
I was just gonna say I'm feeling good about our negotiating vibes, and we may be waiting on your shield, but you got that sunstone working, right, Ez?
Well, that's less of a negotiation, more of a 4-day trip to get there, close the portal, or let it through the portal, close it, and then return back.
I could talk to the fish too if you need me to.
You can see that Vethedrian looks a little maybe troubled. He's looking down back at the tunnel from which you guys had come as you continue to talk.
This one's gonna hang back for a second, just kind of look to him. Sir, is everything all right?
Not sure. I suppose it depends on. He kind of glances over. And just to make sure that I'm not getting this wrong, the group that went down, Salinger, Araya, Casey, and Charlotte, you guys did tell Vethedrian that you had gone down there, right? After the fact? Yeah. So he says, Salinger, when all of you ventured down, was there any indication that these creatures are capable of in any way achieving what they want?
There was architecture and a pit of sacrificed bodies, but I don't. That could just be procedural if it actually has any relevance into really old stories. They seem like a small group. Could they really wield that kind of power?
And just looks down the tunnel for a bit longer and says, let's hope not. There's so much here that we know is a threat. But I worry we're leaving something neglected.
We can't fight everything.
No, we can't.
It's a short-term solution, at least. We know that for the time being, if we leave them alone, they leave us alone, but he makes direct eye contact with Adrian when he says the next thing. I'm not going to forget they're there, and I'm not going to forget what happened a long time ago in the history books because of that same group and that same belief and those same fanatics.
He nods.
Maybe
Good.
once we establish the town, maybe we can get some reinforcements or something if it really worries you after we do all the other stuff. Like, people that are gonna go to the north or whatever, we get to have some sent here if it really is a big deal or whatever.
We can take care of ourselves. Casey kind of moves past Ephedrian.
You're done with that jacket now, right? He
Don't
says
really
as he
need that.
starts to.
I so want to just tear it off of me and give it to you, but
Tear Wiglets.
I wanted it with when Casey was negotiating and he got really hot. He just burned the jacket, and so he
burn away clothes.
and so he hands it back to Sal. It's just got scorch marks on it, just barely the remnants of tattered, burnt clothing.
I imagine that the fire just perfectly burned away those last few remaining stitches, so he perfectly seared off the arms of the coat.
The arms, and then the chest opens up as well. Just a reveal.
Yeah, Casey will. Yeah. And he kind of pulls it off and whips it around to Sal. Keep that though, because I think it helped, definitely.
You did a great job. You really did. Are we gonna test that thingy out before we go back to the giant fish monster? He says as he starts to rejoin the group and look at us.
Yes, the lightning dynamite. Let's test it
We probably should test it to make
in
sure
the
it works.
woods.
Yeah, we got that one to fix that.
Yeah, we do that. We have like half a day.
And like an hour of game time left.
Didn't Esmond, didn't you say it has like a 25% chance of breaking?
What? Did he say that?
Yeah, this is something that we discussed previously.
I completely, I completely
Never
forgot we
tested.
knew that. Yeah.
Each
Yeah, I
time,
forgot we
I
did.
thought it had a 25% chance of not being created correctly.
Oh no, I did a great job creating it.
25%, that's nothing.
No, it is.
Yes.
That's
It'll be fine.
It's 1 in 4.
I don't think we can afford to test it out on something else, not when there is already someone that is waiting for it and depending upon it.
We do still got to close that one of the woods too, though, unless we want more Oronaka eventually finding themselves their way in. But oh shoot! At the same time, what if
I mean, they're
do you
turning
think
on.
Luna should go back? I don't want her to be trapped here if she's got folks on that other side.
This sounds like a thing for us to ponder in the future. Let's deal with the fish first.
Hmm.
Yeah, and the birds aren't turning out that bad. Poppy and Muna, they seem all right.
Yeah, but do they maybe want to be back in their original environs?
It's another argument for leaving that open for a little bit longer.
I just don't want to help the fish thing. I don't like it.
What in the world, Ava? That is one of the most racist things I've ever heard you say, and you are a human.
It screamed in our minds and tried to kill us with saber-toothed tiger sharks.
Yeah.
I mean, we did kind of try to kill it first.
No, we didn't. We got in the water and the fish started attacking the boat.
All right, no more than the kobolds did. We just negotiated with them, so we've already even talked to this one. Didn't Ez go through that whole moment?
Well, we didn't need anything from them. We did need something from the boats, so it's a slightly different situation.
The point being that this thing poses a potential threat and is less likely to negotiate a peaceful accord with us.
Also, we made a deal.
I don't know that humans can be racist. They're kind of a minority.
Thank you. Free reign.
Sure thing, Doc.
Now I can say what I really think.
I don't mean anything by it, Doc. I'm half human. You know I can't be racist against humans.
Fully, at least.
Moving on. Fish thing.
We'll take care of it. It's going to take us 2 days to get back to the coast, so we just need to prep beforehand.
Yeah, just move you along from having just standing outside the cave. We'll say that kind of as you had some of these conversations, it's led you back to the Wanderlust Tavern and you return to town.
All right, well, let's just prep and then head that direction, I guess, if that's what you guys want to do. We can figure it out along the way, but I don't know. I just don't. I just have a bad feeling. It just seems bad. The fish thing just seems really bad. I mean, that tall thing across the way didn't seem great either, I guess, but...
No, I agree. Whatever this thing is, it's horrifying. I don't think that we can trust it, but I think we can trust it long enough to get it through this portal and get it out of our land and stop threatening our people.
Just because something is big and predatory and needs to eat doesn't make it bad. It maybe makes it threatening. We don't want it around, but it is only acting according to its nature, as opposed to a cult that wants to apparently reshape the world. All they want to do is get home. At this point,
I think that's what it told us. I just don't. I don't know. I could be. It's like it could just be like just feeling. It's like not based in any rational or whatever. Maybe I'm just mad at it because it like almost killed a couple of you guys. But I just don't trust it at all. I think it's bad, and maybe I'm being fish racist, but I don't like it.
No, they were fine.
I guess I don't
Not
understand what
even
you mean
close.
by bad. Like, it's an animal. How can it be bad?
No, it's not.
No, the giant creature wasn't. That thing was smart.
Yeah, like
Poppy's
super
clever,
smart.
but that thing was a whole different. Made me feel small.
Oh, honestly, I was face down in the water for most of that fight, so I guess I didn't realize how smart I was.
Yeah,
It has an
like
intelligence that could threaten us.
And Shalata, you were
Well,
so eager to kill it at the time. I'm surprised. You almost seem like you're defending it now. I mean,
Sal.
yeah, we want it gone, but
Sal.
yeah, sorry.
how about this? If you do it, I still think still think it's a bad idea. Okay, here's I guess. All right, we don't really know much about these tears, right? We don't know much about this device. We don't know much about the creature. We don't know much about where it's from, and I just have a bad feeling about what it is in general. And I know that right now we're going to do it like a favor, basically, and we are doing it because we basically fought and then pleaded for it to not kill us and then offered to help it. And like, I don't know. I just think that we're doing something that might be a bad idea. And again, it's just, I'm not based on anything. It's just
No.
my thought.
Doc, we showed the creature a mercy by letting it be. And now we're going to show it another mercy by sending it back home.
Okay. I mean, yeah, you're probably right. But it's just a feeling.
At least it'll be gone.
So as you guys are talking, you see Winfred, Seyfried's mother. You see her eyes are kind of large, ears folded back, worried about something. She kind of comes over to your table. Says, did Muna go with you? Has she been with any of you?
No.
She didn't come along with us this time. I saw her night before last.
She
Who's looking after her?
She didn't come back to the. She didn't come back to the tavern last night.
Oh.
I checked the other. I went looking. I mean,
Do you know where she went to?
no, I don't know where she. I don't know where she went, and I've been meaning to talk with someone. It's only been a few days. I mean, she's changed so much in just a short amount of time. It wasn't long ago she was just a child. But it's like every day she becomes someone else, maybe more of who she's going to be, but her ears twitch a bit, and I'm just worried that she doesn't listen like she used to.
Maybe she's becoming a teenager real quick. Every one of us matures at our own rate. I mean, some of us slower than others. Maybe she's gone from 6 hours old to 16.
No, maybe she couldn't have gone far. I'm just worried. I mean, after everything that's happened, she kind of worries her hands, her pawed hands a little bit.
But we don't have to worry about kobolds anymore.
Yeah.
Those that are underground are no longer a problem.
Yeah,
We should maybe tell that to Muna, though. Last I saw her, she'd taken out one of the kobolds that had come into the city.
Yeah, we'll find her.
Have you
Guys.
killed one of them?
Yeah, in self-defense.
Yeah, so Winfred nods a little bit, and I just thought you should know. Goes back upstairs.
Let's find her, I guess.
Okay. Well, Okay, we should. Does anyone have any idea where she could have gone?
Should I don't know, go towards the portal where we found the egg and check in that area? I mean, maybe she has some kind of instinct to return to where her nest originally was.
Not yet. Some of the places that she would know would be your forge, Kibeth. She knows the tavern. Where are some other places in town that she's familiar with?
She might be visiting Poppy wherever Poppy is. Them two's thick as thieves sometimes.
Okay, let's divide and conquer. Um, some people go check out Kibeth's workshop. Some people go check on where Poppy is kept, and maybe one or two other people can join me in checking out her room in here. There could be a clue as to if she's been learning at an accelerated rate. There might be clues as to what she's been thinking about in her room.
That's a good idea.
Okay. Yeah. I'll try to. I can look around this area real quick too, and I'll give it a quick glance. And the owl that was on her shoulder takes flight. It'll just fly up about 100 feet, and Ava will try to look through its eyes and take a look around just to see if there's anything in a mile in any direction that she can see.
Is that a specific ability, or is it just the owl looking around?
It is the familiar, that where you can look through the familiar's eyes.
Oh yeah, no, I know. But is it literally just the owl flying around and looking, or are you
Yeah.
casting a spell? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
and then I'll look through its eyes with magic. I don't know. It's not a spell, but it's just.
Yeah. So silently the owl is flying off. Doesn't even make that noise. I just had to make some kind of noise, I guess. Some of you are searching what is Peach's old rooms, right? Because you've moved into Miranda's room and you've given Muna's room or you've given your room to Muna. Yeah, going in there, as you begin to search around, you see that, it's not like the place was turned over or anything like that, but it's a little bit messy. It's not made. You see there are small little things, kind of insignificant things that Muna must have, picked apart. She's been curious about things. There's some things that are kind of worn, damaged now, more so than you would like. There's maybe an old globe that's kind of been taken apart, and there are pieces of it kind of lying on the counter, or on one of the dressers. Yeah, she's not in there, but the overall vibe you might get from the room is curiosity, also some restlessness.
Can I tell if she's been in there recently, like in the past 24 hours?
I'm trying to think if there's a way you do that. I would say, thinking back on it, you guys were busy, but yeah, you don't remember seeing her recently. The last time you guys maybe saw her was 2 days ago.
Regarding the curiosities and stuff like that, is there anything that seems like a collection of items or drawings, or not even notes, but maybe scribbles, scratch marks of her trying to communicate in written language? Anything that would indicate some kind of pattern?
Not so much an attempt to communicate in written language, but you do see lots of books and things that are in the room. She's gone through them. Some of the pages are dog-eared. One of them's left open on the spine. She's been looking at things and reading things and going through stuff. Yeah, and to, I guess, what it would be incredibly surprising, the short amount of time that she's even been alive. Yeah, you've seen her trying to read things as well.
There's no pattern to the to everything there that would indicate like a specific interest?
She seems to be
Uh,
drawn to like pictures and illustrations and maps and things like that. If you had to guess, she's probably more quickly able to make sense of those than she is to make sense of writing. Yeah, but she seems to be much more drawn to sketches and illustrations and things like that than written things.
I mean, I'll spend 10, 30 minutes investigating the room, seeing what else I can find, unless there's nothing else there really.
Okay, roll. Just go ahead and roll an investigation check.
Patrick, I'm gonna have you roll me a d20 because I can't use Roll20 at the moment.
Got it.
Yeah, let's roll to search Peach's childhood bedroom. I'm sure you won't find any fanfic that she's written in the journal
I'm sure
somewhere.
Peach has taken all of her private notes out of there.
12 on the die. $12 on the die?
12 on the die, so that'll be 15. So that'll be a 27 total.
Ooh.
Okay. I think maybe after just a few moments of doing this, the pattern that you pick up is of the options of things here in Peach's old room that Moon had access to. She's most interested in the things that Peaches had collected that have to do with the world outside of Shepherd's End, right? Old sketches or fragments of maps or stories that have illustrations in them, stuff like that. Things that are more than what's just in the town.
Do I also happen to find anything that belongs to Peach that she may have forgotten about?
Potentially. I'll tell you what, Peach, why don't you 27's pretty good. Peach, why don't you give us something, a little hint of Peach's collection?
With a 27, I think you find maybe it's fallen off the nightstand and down between the nightstand and the bed ages ago now. It's Peach's journal from when she was, let's say 11. What do you do with that? Do you open it there, Esmond?
Is it clearly Peach's?
It's a journal and it has a flower on the front and it says Peach in big letters, but it's not locked.
I mean, no, if it's clearly yours, then Esmond will put it to the side, put it somewhere visibly for you to see. And he just continues looking over everything that he finds before standing up. All right, so no, I mean, the only pattern I can find here is she's interested in outside of Shepherd's End. She's curious about the world, but nothing that gives me a hard clue as to other places that she potentially may have gone to. She may have gone back to the portal, but we don't know how strong her recollection of her time before hatching is.
Either way, she shouldn't be out to see anything beyond the village boundaries alone.
Around this time, those who were searching in the local area, and Ava with your owl, you guys kind of return, having not found anything useful.
Peach's 11-year-old journal is now just plopped on her bed. It's very clearly visible to all of you. This is a test of your friendship.
I didn't see anything in the local area. Has she been eating? Like, where would she go if she's been gone for a while? Where would she, to food maybe?
She usually eats here, the Aranaka jerky or salt fish, whatever we make.
Something actually worth noting for Ava as you were flying around through the owl's perception. The entire local landscape is covered in white treetops, the hills, mountains. The the river's still flowing, but all the small creeks frozen over. All on winter has come much, much earlier in the year than it should.
She notes that, but won't make a note of it just yet.
Casey comes in. Yeah, no sign of her. I mean, who was looking after her?
The moms were, right? Maybe they know. Let's go find a mom.
Kind of spins and flops on the bed. And
But literally, Winfred is the one who came and told you Christmas. The person who was watching.
Oh, I didn't realize she was one of the... I completely forgot. That was one of the brothers or sisters for some reason. Sorry.
Casey flops on the bed and... Peach! He slings the book at her.
Roll attack.
Oh, yes.
Is this attack called Blast from the Past?
7.
Peach, a journal comes flying at you.
I'm here. Sorry, a second.
I know, I'm not. And just surprise, a journal comes flying at you. Casey threw it.
My journal comes flying at me.
Yeah.
All right, I attempt to catch it.
Well, he'll succeed.
Peach catches it. Don't go throwing things around my room, Casey. I mean, Muna's room. The whole wanderlust is mine. Don't go throwing my things.
Yeah, Casey is just laid on the bed and he's like, yeah. So, I mean, she couldn't have gone far, yeah? Where does Poppy go when they want to be alone?
Oh, wait. Does we have any... Can Poppy track her? Like, does he have a good nose? We could, like, find something that she slept on, and then maybe he could... Is that a thing?
I mean, Poppy's more of a vision-based than scent-based hunter, but the way she sprints up and down the fields between the Cadney Ranch and town, she didn't head any that way, so that at least narrows down where we would look.
It's clear at this point that Casey has fallen asleep on the bed there, probably not having gotten much rest that night before.
Speaking of rest, unfortunately, Kate has to go. Although Peach will, I guess Peach will stay behind if we go anywhere else. She'll stay at the Wanderlust in the hopes that Muna will find her way home.
Yeah, or we can say that Peach is looking for Moon around town or something like that and checking.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, that sounds great. Great. Thank you, folks. Wonderful, wonderful game. I'll see you all next week.
Okay.
See you soon.
Out of character, I got that right with Poppy. I was just reading her stat block, everything she does. She's super fast, 120 feet of dark vision. I assume it's mostly vision-based hunting.
Yeah, she certainly has a good sense of smell, but she's not like a tracking animal.
Yeah, I was thinking she'd hunt more like a bird, and it's... Yeah. Okay.
So, I mean, how do we try to find her if we have no idea where to go? She could go anywhere.
Well, I mean... Kebeth did make the in-character suggestion about going back to the portal, right? Did I hear that earlier?
Yeah, she suggested that she would go to that place just in case she has like an instinct to return to her nest.
Cool. I thought I heard that.
Let's do the short version of that and ask the guards, because she'd have to go past the guards in the gate, right? So, like, yeah, let's go ask them. Maybe they've seen her. If she hasn't, none of them have seen her, then she's probably still somewhere in town.
Yeah, not a bad idea.
Seems reasonable to me. I mean, assuming she hasn't have some sort of latent magical abilities that lets her just vanish.
Okay. So let's go to different directions and check with the guards at different points and then meet back somewhere, I guess, or something.
Okay. Before too long, who goes to the southern gate?
That's towards the portal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go that way.
I'll go too.
Okay. Casey and Kabeth, you guys reach the southern gate. Yeah, you see Yev there. One of the turrets. He's got Shotty's big glaive kind of on his back, and he kind of, as you guys are coming up the street, he kind of notices you and raises his arm and waves.
We make it there in record time.
We race our way there.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Casey, Kabeth, how did it go?
Yeah.
He kind of comes down the ladder. One of his arms still in a sling. From the air we took earlier.
Surprisingly better than expected, although you get the full story from.
You should have seen this hulking priest. Must have been at least 13, 14 feet tall. He was enormous, could barely fit through the hole there. Here we are standing face to face across chasm, talking terms of this peace that we wish to restore between,
You made
us
them.
up here.
You made them
Yeah.
surrender.
That's right. We won't be seeing any more of those that dwell down there.
That's amazing.
But how goes it here?
Oh no,
All quiet?
Things have been good. There's no sign of danger here.
Yeah. Also, have you seen Luna lately?
Well, a couple of days ago. Not today.
Has she gone outside of the town at all?
Well, she did. She did not come to the gate.
Not today or recently, but like, have you seen her leave town at all?
Well, now that you mention it, no, I don't think that I have. She has come to the gate sometimes, and she will look. I've seen her on the wall. She seemed.
Which gate?
Esmond?
Wow. Sneak attack.
I come out of the alley.
No, new here. I saw her on the southern wall. A couple days ago.
I mean, there's more than one way out of town. Besides these gates,
Well, I mean, that's true if you wanted to do something inconvenient, but the gate's the best way to go. The gears are so big and they can open the whole gate. It's so cool.
Esmond starts walking towards that gate.
You're really close to it, and one of the guards sees you coming. Hey, you want to go back out?
Potentially. Have you seen the lizard girl walking around? Yev says that she's shown particular interest in this gate.
Oh, the one with the fancy clothes. Seen her, but didn't come to the gate.
Esmond's going to just start walking around the gate just to see if he can find anything of hers.
Yeah, you look around for a while, but there's nothing. Yeah, you don't notice anything. There's a lot of tracks of people coming and going and stuff like that. Okay.
Beth turns to them and says, "Well, just because they haven't seen her leave doesn't mean she didn't find some way out that we don't know. I mean, I really think that I should at least go check." Chris, can you remind me how long it would be to travel to where we bought the Ornakus?
That's several hours.
Okay. Yeah, Chris says, I I can be there and back in real fast, and I feel like I should at least check out that area. Just even though she was in the egg when I carried her back, doesn't mean that she, like some animals kind of like know they were born, where they were made. They go back there, just in case there's like something calling her to the nest.
No, I'm thirsty too, as good idea. But there's a way to track like people. I remember from the play, scene 4 of Act 4, when they're tracking the beast of Afaranja. Yeah. They had like a tuft of his fur or something, and they were able to track him magically. Are any of you able to do that?
No.
Like if we got something, a piece of her eggshell or something like that.
I mean, we definitely have that around.
Since it was the plan, we'll say you guys have reconvened back up to meet with having, back at the Wanderlust. And yeah, none of you, the other people were searching other areas. You didn't find anything either.
Because if you could track her magically, I mean, that would be the best way. Kabath, you could go check out the portal as well.
I can try a spell. I don't think it'll work, but she just shrugs and yeah, she's gonna try to locate her using this spell.
What's it look like when you do it?
Let me find out. Hold on a second. All right, hold on. I'm so sorry. It's some. I promise, I'll flavor things at some point, eventually. All right. She's gonna clear off a small place in the Wanderlust and sort of sit down, shake her head a little bit, and instead just sort of step up and walk outside. It's a little bit quieter out there. She takes the mask off of her face, takes in a really deep breath with her eyes closed, sort of breathes out and starts to like open up her senses as best she can to really breathe in and allow herself to smell everything in the air so distinctly that some of it leaves it a small taste on her mouth. Hear every small little twitch of the wind as it goes through windows and alleyways, voices drifting on it. The sense of the cold outside on her skin, everything just becomes hyper. And inside, if you could see, there's this very gentlest of light, probably almost invisible from looking at her from the outside, where inside of her own form, there is a small realignment of energy within her own body, like constellations shifting ever so slightly. And as that happens, she reaches out and attempts to locate an animal. And I don't think this will work. I'm trying
it. Well, yeah, you reach out, and well, I think you at least learn from trying to cast the spell that Muna's not a
beast.
Not a beast. So.
Yeah, she says as much to others because that sounds wonderful coming from her. Well, she's not a beast.
Add that onto the fishist statements earlier. We're having a bad
yeah,
time.
it's terrible.
Let me make it clear that I don't think that. In fact, I know for a fact.
I know for a fact she's not. I was like a little on the fence, but scientifically speaking, not a beast. Anyway, yeah, so afterwards she blows out, opens her eyes back and puts her mask back on, a little disappointed, and then she walks back inside into the tavern and sort of shrugs and it's like, no, I tried, but it's really just the magic isn't intended for her. I'm sure there's some magic that might work, but I don't know it.
Yeah, you will. You'll get there.
Oh, we can actually hear you.
Araya,
You're not.
why are
You're
you
not.
miming?
Yeah, you're not. You're.
Okay. I was like, eh? I did teach her about the maiden. Do you think she might be headed to the temple? It might bring a lot of curiosity for her to see more about the maiden.
I mean, that could be. Gabeth is going to go check the portal, and I think that's on the way there. So presumably she'll be able to see tracks, especially with the snow on the ground and whatnot.
Oh. You know, Shalati's a lot better at, animal tracks, and they have to be really obvious for me to notice them.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Gabeth will go check there, but I don't know where else we can look.
Well, maybe she'll just come back to bed. She'll go off and check some stuff out, and then she'll just come back to where her home is, and that's it. I mean, this is where the food is.
I do have one thing I could try, but as we've never encountered anything like Muna before, it might turn out the exact same way that what Ava tried did. Sal's going to use Primeval Awareness, which detects a specific list of creature types within a mile. I can give you the list. I don't know if she would fit in any of them.
Yeah, give that a click or send it to me. Let's see.
Are egg people on the list?
No egg people. All kinds of cool stuff, though.
Is this something that you're putting to Roll20 or messaging it?
I just had to find it on the character sheet in Roll20
Okay.
because I was looking at the D&D Beyond sheet to read about it.
Aberrations, celestials, dragons, elementals, fae, fiends, and the undead. I'd honestly like to know if any of these things are around us at all times. This is not something you should keep to yourself. And I could speak celestial, so really...
It felt a little invasive to just use all willy-nilly. People have a right to their privacy.
What if you found out that I was actually a dragon?
Exactly my point. What if you didn't want me to know you were actually a dragon?
I would definitely want to also
Alrighty.
know if I was part dragon. I don't know my parents. What if I am?
God, I hope you are.
Maybe that's where the tale comes from.
Ava's about to say something and then realizes she shouldn't say anything in this moment.
You can say anything you want to, Ava.
No.
We're all friends here.
It's going to be another gross generalization about a group of folks.
She didn't say anything. She didn't. She's hidden behind a mask. She didn't say anything.
You can't really make gross generalizations about tieflings. There's not enough of us to count.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's so many math faces happening over there right now.
Anything, Sal?
Is this Sal's favorite terrain?
Interesting. I'm just trying to
mountain.
look at characters. Yeah, so describe to us, so keeping in mind that it would make you aware of the presence but not the location or number of them. Yeah, sort of describe what does Salinger look like as he uses this.
I think what he would look like, would it be almost as if he's got literally his ear to the ground, like as if he's listening to the ground. And if we did a pan out view of the magic working, think like a vibration going across the surface and then pinging back if it hits one of those things. So almost an echolocation kind of feel, and that's the mental image that he gets.
Okay. Yeah, you're picking up hints, in some ways distorted or murky, of aberration, celestial, dragon, fiend.
All coming from Araya? That's amazing.
All within a mile.
It honestly could.
How many parents do you have?
The normal amount.
I feel like Sal would stand up looking a little exhausted. Well, that was unhelpful and worrisome in equal measure.
Well, what if you tried it again like a mile away? You know, I can run one of those in under 10 minutes.
But I would say it is just it is just like an echo sort of that feeling, if that makes any sense.
Just that there's a lot of different types of things that I probably didn't realize were there. I mean, there are a few that I didn't realize were there. There are a few that I think I can pick out who in the group or who in the town that might have been identifying.
Yeah, I mean, maybe have you tried this spell before and you can like kind of like...
No, this is literally the first time he's ever used it. It just
Ever?
Ever. It was the 4th level thing.
Oh. Just a whole new discovery how interesting our town is that you just maybe didn't know.
Probably didn't help that I didn't really know enough about Muna going in. Yeah, it didn't help at all.
Well, she was barely born yesterday.
How old is she actually? A few days? A few weeks?
A month.
A month, okay.
Yeah, almost exactly.
We should do the photo shoot laying her against a blanket for size.
So just to make sure I heard you right, just have this in my brain. The only thing that wasn't present was undead. It was like the whole list except for undead.
There were no fae.
How far are we from docks?
Yeah,
Physiker.
interesting.
Over a mile.
Yeah. Let's also add a little hint of elemental and fae to your list. So
Okay.
only undead was the thing.
Yeah, all right.
I love it. Well, that's really not a bad thing.
But all very, very just like little hints of it. Nothing like not like a strong beacon, just little hints.
Yeah, I think I get what you're saying there. Traces within a bloodline within a creature not as strong. Like a giant earth elemental isn't wandering underneath their mountain. Is not what it felt like. Well, where do we even start? Do we want to head towards the portal and look for her?
We may as well.
I mean, Kabeth may already be heading that way.
Well, we brought her
She-
back to our
can I-
town, so we're responsible for her. We definitely need to look.
Quebec can have already left, by the way. If we want.
Okay.
That's what I figured, yeah.
I think she's halfway there. I mean, if she jumps, it really...
Yeah, I mean, if there's not a great way to track her, then...
Just as a note, it's totally fine for this. At some point, we'll want to talk because Primeval Nurse is one of the things that I changed in the errata. So we'll want to talk about like what version you want to do or something like that.
Okay.
I feel like this should be like your sun salutation each morning is, sense the vibes. There's new ones.
Well, if we can't track her and we still have these other things, should we just prepare for like tomorrow? Wait for Beth to get back if she has no trace of her, If she finds something, we go after her. If she doesn't, then we get ready for the fish thing. I mean, I don't know what else we can do if we don't know where she is.
I don't think that Moon is a danger to herself or others. She knows where home is. I mean, I'm doing a look just to make sure she's okay. I don't know. Like, how much agency do you want to allow her to have? I know she's quite new, but she's so capable.
GM, what time of day is it?
Let's see. You guys have left, I think, like right in the morning or close to, so it's still morning, like mid-morning probably.
Esmond will chime in. Well, Oria's right. Muna most likely knows where, or I should say, Muna most likely knows how to return to the village. So it's either we leave now, since we have most of the day still, we pick a destination and we head there and see if she's there, or we give her a day, and if she hasn't returned by tomorrow morning, then we head out and check then, or we just leave her to her own accord.
Let me let you guys just keep chatting for just a second. I'm just gonna use the restroom. I'll be back.
She really wouldn't get into any trouble by going into the caverns, right? I mean, we would have seen her on our way back.
Well, to close the loop on that, that's a good point. We should probably post at least one person around that area before we have a chance to
We're
close it
double
up.
crossed.
No, just to make sure none of us go down there. I took him at his word.
Can we collapse it? Do we have anything that could do that?
Maybe in time. I don't know if we can get something together today.
We'd hammer a few boards over the top.
The priest gave his word that they wouldn't be coming up here, so we want to be sure we don't go down there.
No one's like us. Dumb, brave.
Muna might be.
Yeah, but we would have seen her on her way back.
It's true.
Yeah, but still, we should have someone there to keep some people from going down.
Okay, so that's what we do today. We secure those and get ready to do whatever we're gonna do tomorrow, right?
Prepare for swimming, JC.
Yeah, Esmond, we really do need to figure out what we're gonna do about that, because, like...
I'm pretty sure we can do it from shore.
What? I
Can we?
thought the tear was quite underwater.
It is.
Yeah,
Okay,
but that's... I mean, as this device can work from a distance.
Esmond, is that true? How far can it work from?
It can affect up to a radius of 20 feet.
Oh no, that has to be underwater. That's deep underwater.
And I don't have the ability to help anybody breathe underwater.
None of us do.
Oh! Ez is fine.
No, he
He
can hold his
avoids.
breath, but I mean, Esmond, do you have to talk to use the thing, or did you just press buttons?
No, it's a device that's designed to be able to operate in a majority of conditions, including underwater. Knowing what we were going to have to do, I had that in mind. No,
Intelligently designed.
well, designed certainly. Yeah, it just needs to be operated and set, and it'll go off after a minute. And depending on the charge of the blast, it'll either open it in one, or we'll have to charge it again.
Yeah, so we open it up, fish goes through, then we close it. Yeah.
That is the idea.
And not when it's halfway through, because that just might mean...
Right.
While we wait, I mean, since we're just gonna we're gonna do this stuff. We've just been looking for Moon. Why don't we just ask other people around town too? That just put the word out, and then if they see Muna, they can tell her, that we're looking for her, and we want to, just know she's okay, right?
Has anybody tried just calling out Muna with like snacks?
I mean, I called it a bit while I was looking around, but we can keep an eye out, you know.
She is food motivated. Maybe a barbecue.
Yeah, it actually might be fair that a couple of you who were looking around, we'll say in the tertiary groups, you ran into people who, like, the moms had already gone looking for Muna and had been asking around about her. That makes any sense.
Got it. Okay. All right. Well, what I do is board something up, get ready for fish.
Right. So, how big is the hole approximately to the cavern?
It was about 50 feet long, but quite narrow. Like a scratch just kind of torn through the ocean.
Wait. Did you say
Sorry, I meant the cavern. Theoretically boarding up the area that Casey exploded it in, I think is a little
excuse me.
Whoa.
Pie in the
Let's
sky.
not throw around accusations here.
You mean facts and history?
Okay. Well, if we're not doing anything until tomorrow, I'm going to return to my workshop. The verdict had put in an order that I need to look into.
More pew pew?
Yeah, he asked about potentially making more arcane bullets. I'm gonna see what I can do.
I guess I'll make sure that no one needs anything, and then if everyone's fine, and no one needs anyone at the Physiker, I'm gonna go and just, I don't know, talk to the verdict, I guess.
Actually, I'll join you real fast. I need to borrow one of his bullets to kind of get a idea of what I'm making here.
Vithedrian already gave you one. He came to your shop.
Did he?
And
Okay.
Gave you one.
I figured, but I forgot. Okay, great. Then never mind. Forget what I said.
Time rewinds. Okay, yeah. I guess meet back here. Wait, who's gonna take care of, like, leading the organizing the putting people or boards or whatever? Who's doing that?
I can measure something. And
Oh no, not Arvea. I've seen your woodwork.
it doesn't need like nice solutions. It just needs.
Rhea can go if she has a couple of people to assist her.
See? Vote of confidence, Ava. More faith in me. Also, if you maybe planted some crazy viney plant over it, it could provide some additional support and cover.
Okay. If you set it up, I'll go make some plants down there afterwards.
I'll build a trellis and then you build some plants.
Okay.
Specifically, when I say people help you, Araya, I mean people that know how to use and operate woodworking tools.
Oh, dare.
Burn.
He's walking out the door.
You guys are rude.
You know, I've done it once. I could do it again. I don't see how it is that complicated. The worst case is it falls in the hole.
Casey is looking back and forth between Ez leaving and Araya. You're gonna do great, having just woken up on the bed. You're gonna do great. He kind of zips out after Ez.
Mixed messages, boys.
Okay, so we have...
I'll get Beth to help me when she gets back.
Okay, so who's gone to go where, and who's doing that? I know
I'm gonna
Kabeth's already...
find some like sailor folk who helped build the fence and take them with me.
Okay, so you're gathering people to go work on boarding up the tunnel.
Kobold hole.
Kobold. Okay.
Just as like a deterrent from our side.
Makes sense. Esmond, you're going to the workshop to work on project. Casey, do you know where you're going?
I'm going to catch up with Ez.
Okay. Sound.
I guess I help with the hole.
Okay. Let's see. Ava, what are you up to?
Making sure she swings by the Physiker just to make sure there's no like person she has to go and mend up or do anything there. If everyone's fine there, Lily's fine. She was gonna go talk to the verdict, which is not something that I have to do right now. It's just a thing that I'm gonna do talk about later, so it's not a scene or anything necessarily.
Okay. Sounds good. I'm gonna say.
I know Beth has to go soon, so if she's in anything,
Yeah, getting close.
prioritize that. Yeah.
It's a couple hours later, probably honestly just 2 with how fast Beth can travel. Your move amongst the snow-blanketed forest south of Shepherd's End, getting relatively close to the place you had gone to investigate, the portal to the south, the place where the Ornakus had come through a time ago. As you're searching, you begin to see some fresh footprints in the snow. Like, match what you're looking for. And before too long, you find just some discarded bones. The parts of a fish that Muna doesn't seem to like to eat, apart near the tail. You as you're traveling, roll me a perception check. Ooh.
I don't think it's with advantage. Hold on. I think it was just on. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's the 8, not the 23. I don't think there's anything giving me advantage on that one.
Okay. Well, you're moving farther south when you hear a low, bassy impact of like a heavy step on the ground. And then, another one not too long after that. You hear like the bend and the snap of a branch.
Kibeth like whirls around looking to see in the direction that you heard it come from.
Just coming from ahead of you.
Oh. She whirls around and then realizes it's in front of her and looks straight ahead. Hello? Over there?
Yeah.
She kind of like holds a weapon very like almost behind her, like trying to not seem threatening but being ready.
Yeah, as you do, you feel something touch your back.
Turns around again.
Yeah, spin around. It's Muna. She holds a single clawed finger up kind of near her mouth, and sort of the gesture that you guys have given her when she's being too loud.
Beth like opens her mouth to go, Luna, but then like sees the finger and she stops and she just looks excited to see her. She kind of looks around, gestures around, like silently, like what's going on.
She takes your hand, starts to pull you kind of over into cups of trees, and then sort of around you get near some rocks, and she kind of guides you up a little ridge of rock. And you're kind of near where you've been to this part before. She stops and kind of points. And farther along farther to the south, just through some trees. You see a tree sway a little bit. You hear another impacting sound. And you see what seems to be a family of large creatures, kind of round-bellied, big flare of bone ridge just behind the head, and 3 bright, colorful horns coming off the front. Or wait, is that part of their nose? You're not really sure. They're vibrant plumes of feathers coming off the tail. You see them pulling down on a branch, eating it, and one of them almost bites through the trunk of a smaller tree, and it falls over.
Beth leans really close to me and says, "They were looking for you. Are you okay? We were worried."
Yeah, she doesn't. You know that she understands you. She didn't say anything. She was just watching the creatures. There's a thoughtful expression on her face.
Beth kind of looks for a moment with her at these things, kind of taking in the scene. She looks at Muna, and she doesn't really seem to know what to do for the moment. She just continues to look on. I think after a brief while, unless you're going to talk.
So yeah, after a moment, you see the creatures begin to move on in search of little spots of green still left in some of the trees. And Muna, as they wander away, Muna doesn't follow them, but she looks at you.
We were worried about you. Will you come home with me? Back to our friends, our family?
She looks at you for a moment, and she shakes her head a little bit and says, "No. Later."
Are you safe?
She looks around and looks back to you and squints, like, kind of blinks a little bit.
Beth reaches into her pocket and takes out some more like dried meat, like jerky kind of thing. At unspecified what meat is in her pocket. It is she reaches up, pulls out whatever is in there, and she offers it to her.
Roll a d4.
It's a 2.
She takes this unspecified meat and
I'll come back. Will you be here? Will you wait?
she blinks a few times and takes your hand again and pulls on it. Leads you kind of through some more trees and up this kind of climb of rock. And at first, there's something familiar about it, but it's different now. There's the snow. The snow is so much thicker. You realize you're at the place where you fought the giant Arnocus. You're at the place where you found Reg. And there's only the slightest hints of battle remaining, just some scratches in the stone. And yeah, you remember climbing up on that ridge and Muna moves and sits down at the edge of the outcropping of rock. Chews on the last little bit of meat you gave her.
Kibeth sits next to her for a bit, dangles her legs, kind of takes in the scene, looks over at Muna. That's where we found you. You knew to came back. You knew to come back here, huh? Even though you were in the egg when you were here.
And I think by this point, you know that she understands sophisticated ideas, even though she talks in simple ways. Her understanding's better than her language, or where she speaks.
I, the player, have not interacted with her at all since she was born. I haven't been present for any session, so if I'm missing anything in terms of how to interact, please continue to inform me because I don't know.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's why I'm telling you, because we actually haven't had many scenes with her, so a lot of it's been kind of off screen.
Okay, cool. Yeah, like I presume that they have interacted, but I, the player, have had zero interaction.
Yeah, and so she kind of looks around and then she says, more everything.
More? And Beth kind of points at her when she says that. She puts that, more like you.
She kind of gestures broadly, just at the forest. More. Everywhere.
Okay. Luna, if I leave you alone, are you okay?
She nods.
I want you to come back with me, but if this is where you want to be, I'm not going to tell you have to.
She pauses for a second and then touches your shoulder and says, come to you again. Soon.
Promise?
Cants her head a little bit to the side and promise.
Okay. You always have a home with us. I'll see you soon. And she kind of hugs her.
Yeah, she hugs you and you feel the crush of sort of the clothes that you have given her, and snow falls off her shoulder.
I'll tell everyone that you're okay. See you soon.
Soon. Promise.
Promise. And with that, Kabeth will turn and dash off. Back towards town. And with that, I'm out for the night.
Get some rest.
Good night, everybody. See you soon.
Yeah. Meanwhile, hammers hit nails into boards, and you guys are working on the construction of the barricade to seal up the kobold tunnels.
Honestly, we should have done this sooner, I think.
I mean, as long as we're leaving a lock and a hatch so we can get down there when we need to later.
What do you mean? When we need to later? I thought not going down was the terms of agreement.
Terms of agreement, well, that's short term. Terms weren't written into any sort of contracts or durations. They're just consequences.
Oh, what do you... I mean, I certainly had a lot of questions I would have liked to ask the priest, but I didn't feel like it was the right time. And then I don't think that I'm allowed to now. And then, like, where does their territory begin and ours end? And...
Read I got from it was the other side of that chasm. Is where theirs stops.
That's where all the interesting things are.
Yep. That's why I want a hatch.
Well, yeah, I mean, a couple boards is not permanent. It's just a deterrent. And then no one will accidentally fall in.
Yeah. Well, and with the regular earth shakes, it might be very temporary.
Well, we could still go inside the dwarven ruins, the caves by the farm.
No, Casey relaying what he was saying made it pretty clear they don't want us anywhere near.
But that's
there'll
not
be,
theirs. That's different. That's
I agree with you, but
yeah. Well, I don't want to be the one to, anger an entire people again.
oh well. Some things we can't know for now, says Z hammers a few more nails in the voice.
You seemed like you recognized White Beard Mane, Gray.
Gray Mane.
What is? Well, I don't know that. They're obviously not like a religious figure.
Political, dwarven ruler from 600-700 years ago, something like that. Centuries. Before Lux.
And you could do more research on that, but that's what you know off the top of your head.
Yeah.
Well, there might be more specifics to the agreement that we're unaware of that would allow us, this but not that, kind of. We could ask, our friend that's up at the temple sometime.
Oh, well. One thing it will do, and I've been thinking about that since I heard the name, is we did agree to not go back. But we took quite a bit with us, didn't we? Symbols, rubbings, maps, drawings. That name gives us context. Might be able to connect some dots there. At least learn some.
And that is my favorite part.
Casey did really good. I was surprised.
Do you know how ready I was to bring the light of the maiden down on their heads? I was so ready for more and unnecessary. That's really good. That's really, really good. It bodes well for maybe some future dealings with our underground neighbors.
Yeah, maybe one day. I'll tell you this. I like the vibe I was getting off those kobolds a whole lot better than that 13-foot tall, one-eyed, intimidating fella.
Oh, that's right. You hadn't. Well, I mean, he was busy hammering something, so.
They at least liked a good story.
So what you're saying is you want to charm the kobolds away from him?
Seems to me those poor kobolds may just have been under the clawed foot of some big old bullies for a very long time.
Oh, what if we leave a gift basket every once in a while on our end of this, chasm thingy?
Oh, see, now that's not breaking the rules. That's clever.
That's not breaking the rules. It's, I just happened to leave some basket of fruit and flowers and stuff right here, and then, oops, I forgot it. And a note. Well, can Casey write in Ignan? Or is it just talking?
I don't know. He's teaching Peach a word or two, so.
And Peach can. Okay, yeah. Yeah. I like this gift basket diplomacy. Kobold friends. We could use more friends. End of the world and all that.
I mean, what are we at? 33% right now? That ain't bad.
30% of friends?
Yeah,
Of
interactions with
apocalypse.
completely new types of critters.
Yeah, Arnakis didn't go very well.
Well, started badly.
Kobolds went medium well.
Could have been worse.
Fishies was okay in the end.
We didn't all murder each other.
And who knows what's on the other side of that desert? We really are great diplomats. We're
Casey's now the most qualified diplomat of all of us.
No, it's just because the language. If we meet anyone talking Celestial, I promise I will do a very good job.
Araya, he's got the experience now. You don't. Infinitely more than you.
I have been an emissary of the maiden my entire life. I don't know what you're trying to say.
Oh, come on. You know they... Look me in the eye and tell me they weren't just sending you to do chores. And make me believe it. Look how high up your eyes are rolling. You're looking for the lie.
I don't like. No. Well, so in my dealings of chores, I handled a lot of the negotiations with different trading partners rather than the priestesses. Honestly, if that doesn't count for something, then it doesn't count for something. Sal,
I'll give
what
that
can I
to you.
do to thanks? See? I think I would be really helpful so long as people don't try to attack me on sight. And then I have an in.
I'll help you pick a nice jacket too. When time comes for it.
Do you think that's really like half the success? Like he looked, monarchy.
Yeah, 70, 80%.
Well, don't you think that the attire of a maiden feels official in a
Dodgy?
capacity?
Uh,
What? How? Sal, these were
it's so
designed
plain.
millennia ago. You
The
can't.
stitching's all in one
It's a
direction.
classic.
There are no areas of visual interest.
Yes, there. I did the embroidery on the mantle myself.
Yours, yeah, well, your additions are nice, but the uniform is,
Classic.
yeah,
Like
classic.
classic. It doesn't go out of style. It's always been in style.
Except for this part, right?
Historic. What? Which part, Sal? Point it. I let you know when the colors. Sal. Like, how would you modernize it while still being appropriate?
All right. Less buttons. One.
There's no buttons. It's carefully held together with pins.
Okay, less pins.
Oh. Well, then how do you hold it together?
You need room for it to move and to breathe. I don't want to go into a whole treatise on how to pick something that you're very accustomed to.
But no, I mean, well, it's not. You can't just say something like that and then not follow up with, like, maybe a potential solution. I never point out a problem that I can't help with.
It's a show not tell situation. I'll put something together for you.
I expect drawings. But that still adhere to the necessary, the requirements of my order, obviously.
So you think this is going to hold? He says he kind of kicks some of the boards he's been hammering.
No, it's just a visual deterrent. You don't want to leave a gaping hole and then somebody not from our town to be like, oh, what's down that hole? Or like a chicken. We've had enough trouble. It's a hole. It's covered. It's just a suggestion. Don't cross this line.
Should we put up a sign?
Yes!
Don't.
And we'll carve in every language we collectively know. Which ones do you... What are you
It's a long list if you do the whole...
Wait, really?
No, for the whole town, if we did all the language, that'd be a really long sign. It'd be like one of those directional signs that...
Oh, we'll just put like
every
one...
single city in the entire kingdom all on a single post. That's too much.
Okay, well then the top 3. Abunai, danger. Should we tell why it's dangerous? Like kobolds?
No, I don't think so.
Or would that make people more curious? It would make me more curious, actually. Ugh.
Yeah, you might get a teenager throwing dynamite at it.
That already happened. What are the chances it could happen again?
That was the point I was making.
Oh, lightning strikes in the same place twice, right? I didn't name names.
Anyway, successful day. Hopefully tomorrow goes equally as well.
Well, tomorrow is just traveling. It'll go swimmingly.
Yeah. And maybe Moon will come back on her own, or Kabeth found her.
Well, there's vegetables in the forest and tasty jerky here in town. Motivation. She's very food motivated. That's the whole reason she learned to say anything in the first place.
Wasn't that her first word?
Yes.
But my name means snacks. Is that
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, so food motivated.
Or maybe it just means tasty. Like, ooh, tasty. And then it still is significant.
It's
All
a
the-
compliment for sure. Calling
Yeah, it
somebody
was absolutely
Salinger
a
has to be
compliment.
a compliment.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, or we'll make it a compliment. By reputation alone. Like, oh.
Yeah. Nobody
Real
would say stop
Salinger of
being such
you.
a Salinger. That would make sense.
I am helping while talking. The talking just helps the work go faster.
Just since it's just a visual deterrent, I think we probably got it from here. Ava will come by and grow some vines across it.
I really think it'll look pretty. Like, and then if it's beautiful, then people aren't, oh, what's underneath those vines? Maybe she can pick some prickly ones, and then everybody's like, ugh, no. But with like berries, oh. Oh, yeah, we should have been doing that the whole time. Winter berries.
As you hammer in the last 3 nails,
I hit my thumb.
Esmond, you hear 3 knocks on your door. Do we have an Esmond? Oh no, they're all okay. Everyone's okay.
So you're just stuck with us talking about fashion. Honestly, I'm welcome to redrape the robes in any way, shape, or form you think is more appropriate. But I mean, really, these lines are classic and.
I feel like I needed multiple renderings and multiple angles to have a meaningful conversation about that any further, so I had to stop.
I can show you. It's honestly just Grecian robes, and then like her vestments is just like a robe drape, a more structured like shoulder drape, long tabard panel down the front. It's like the only skin you see are her hands, sometimes her tail, and her face.
Gotcha. So no contour and no skin.
I mean, she wears a belt.
Okay.
Casual is just robes.
Got it. I know what Sal's beef was then.
Well, no, give me your beef. Everybody's okay. Give me your beef.
Fine. It's all one texture. Like you're just moving through one texture continuously. I mean, one belt isn't enough to break it up. That's probably what his beef would be. Like there's.
Oh, I love it. Okay, yeah, I love it.
Throw some corduroy in there.
Oh
yeah.
Oh.
Corduroy trim to make sure that people are just disgusted and afraid.
Yeah, that they're just like, ugh. But like have it so that the fluff of it is the wrong direction, so it's just like
Esmond, are you there? Hey, Ez.
Yeah, the next thing on the list was an Esmond and Casey scene, but Ez and Ava. Okay, right now.
Yeah.
nature.
I'm lucky.
Take a little break.
Whoa.
Esmond. Dum, 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 dum. He's knocking on the workshop door.
Haven't even fully taken everything off yet. Go and open the door.
Should have called it the Feldspar Accord. I was too into it. I didn't even think. Casey walks in, kind of still pumped from everything, even after the nap. He's like, I didn't even think about it. I mean, hopefully the priest is familiar with standard Parlay protocol.
I mean, from everything I was able to pick up, yeah, he seemed to catch on relatively quickly.
Yeah, so. Did you see how big that guy was?
Yeah, that was concerning. So I'm glad things didn't turn south on us.
No, I mean, it went just as planned.
Now we just gotta make sure that we hold to the what was it, feldspar cords. Make sure no one goes down there.
Yeah, I mean, we gave our word to each other, so.
You doing all right?
Yeah, I'm just thinking how to, best capture that moment. And it's clear he's thinking about like the mural and whatnot.
Desmond will leave Casey there for a moment, and he'll actually just go step away to a wall that has a bunch of tearaway blueprint-sized pads of paper tied up to the wall, and he'll just do a really rough, quick sketch of two large, imposing figures standing across from one another against a wide chasm, a side view with a series of circles representing eyes scattered throughout. And just kind of tap on that to try and get his attention. Something like that.
Casey kind of looks up at it and, yeah, that's perfect.
Sometimes simple is best.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just still still in it, still ready for what's next. Yeah.
Well, can you hold on to that enthusiasm for the next 2.5 days before we, closer to full 3 days before we get back to the coastline?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get much sleep last night, so I think I could.
Yeah, I've got some work cut out for myself as well. And Esmond walks over to the opposing wall that he was standing against and rummages through some drawers and pulls out a singular arcane bullet, which I don't know if you've ever described what they look like, Chris. Is it just like a standard bullet or what?
It probably looks a lot like a shotgun shell, actually.
I'm imagining a shotgun shell like covered in glyphs and filigree and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, especially near like I guess the top part or the back end, however you want to describe the end of it, and the red. But it's like a brass, an entire brass casing instead of like a plastic.
Yeah, Esmond pulls that out and kind of thumps it onto the workbench. Yeah, see if I can duplicate this thing.
If, of course you can. No problem. Yeah. Casey kind of walks over and picks it up and. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, we'll see. Building something from scratch can, in a way, be easier than trying to duplicate something else.
Maybe, but if you if you have a template, an example to work from, sometimes that can help too. And Casey takes Esmond's hand in his hand. Kind of cups it between his two hands. He says, because we can do anything we put our minds to. Shock and grasp.
The shock surprises Esmond, and for a split second, he thinks that he has lost control of himself again, and immediately pulls back before half second later realizing that the shock was external, and he just looks at Owen, just gives him a fucking smile. All right, copycat.
I know, right? Last night, I couldn't stop running everything through my head, and at one point it just kind of clicked.
Just seems to work for you like that. Wild.
I mean, it's not just me. It's all of us. Like anything with the lightning, dynamite, and Doc with the healing and that boomerang. Yeah, and Beth just can jump so far. Yeah.
No.
And
In my case, it's less about it clicking so much as it is just days and days of research and trial and error. But your point stands.
yeah, that thing that Peach did in the chasm over the bridge. I mean, she came by the obstacle course and did it there as well. Yeah, I think I want to be able to do that. I have to figure that out.
Well, if that's your next goal, I'm sure that you'll get it in no time.
But yeah, I mean, soon we'll be off to the tower. Yeah.
Esmond's eyes immediately go wide at the mention, and he immediately checks for anybody else there. Yeah, just you haven't mentioned that to anybody, right?
No, of course not. That kind of reminds me. This verdict. I tried to talk to Shalati about it the other day, but I don't think we should be trusting him as much as we are.
Yeah, you've kind of been giving off that vibe for a while now. I don't understand why.
I mean, if he knew half the stuff we could do, he would determine us a threat to the kingdom and put us down. What's not clear about that?
I don't think that's what he would do. I feel very confident that he would determine us as allies or benefits to the kingdom.
No, the whole reason verdicts exist is to find people like us, people they can't control.
Well, that's not quite right. They are the idea of the verdicts is something designed to help maintain the you know the general peace of the kingdom. They fight and protect people when necessary, and they, as much as I have questions about it, eradicate all mentions of necromancy, but they don't just go around and annihilate anyone that shows any potential power.
I don't know. I just don't trust him.
I mean, I, I nothing I say can convince you to trust him. I don't. He was saying that I shouldn't tell anyone about the tower because if the verdict found out about it, he would be upset about it. Apparently, I don't.
See, that's exactly my point.
No, that's not. There's something about the tower. There's something that happened there. There's a history there. I don't think it necessarily has to do with me or my mom, but something happened there some time ago before any of us can ever recall when we were still babies. Something happened. I don't know what, but it wasn't. From what I've been able to figure out, it wasn't like a suppression of somebody's natural abilities. It was a true threat.
I don't know, he's not on our side. And the moment he sees something he doesn't like, he's going to turn on us. I know it.
He's on our side for as long as we aid him and he aids us. It's not he's not helping us out of the goodness of his heart. It's a transaction. We're helping him find this necromancer and he's helping us protect ourselves and prepare for whatever it is that we have to face once we leave this village.
I mean, he's not helping that much. He's just kind of standing off to the side.
When he's not helping us, he's looking after the village and making sure that everyone who isn't as strong as we are can protect themselves.
Did you and Doc put any sort of like fail-safe stuff into his prosthetics? Like a kill switch or something like that?
No. Oh no. There's no need for that.
That would have been useful. I mean, my point is, I mean, the others are just running to the verdict every chance they get. We just need to, keep an eye on him.
Look, like I said, nothing I could say can convince you otherwise. Just don't be so don't be so aggressive with him. Don't don't be aggressive and you're not talking to him as you have been doing. I don't think it will leave a good taste in his mouth and wouldn't stand to help you in defense if anything were to ever come to blows, you know? I I can understand where you're coming from. I don't agree with it necessarily, but I get it. And in which case, you could do a better job of hiding your antagonism. Just a bit, maybe.
No. You're right. We want him to think I'm on board as well.
I mean, I'd like to think
Yeah.
that you are on board with him and all of us, but also it just kind of comes off as rude, which is never a great look, really.
Yeah. All right, I'll try to buddy up to the verdict.
Well, okay, no, you don't have to buddy up to him. You just don't have to you don't have to show off as much animosity or disdain as you do in your regular day-to-day interactions with him.
Yeah, we can put him at ease. Good thinking, Ez. So, soon, get to use that lightning dynamite, yeah?
The door jam, yes, we'll be kicking that thing out of our waters and getting that portal shut.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you have more to do to prepare yourself. All right, I'm gonna head out.
Catch you tomorrow.
Good talking, Ez.
Ava.
Yeah.
On the table before you, it's a sketch of the forest to the south, east along the river, and marked on the map is a village, a nearly inconsequential bridge that crosses it. Almost an afterthought is a sketch of a stone tower. Also on the table are maps of the train tracks that lead between Shepherd's End and Muirwood, along with old sketches of the mining tunnels from when the dwarves had been active near the founding of the town. Vithedrian has a weary look on his face and leans against the table, the clockwork arm larger than the other. Glances up at you. What do you think about today?
Right before Ava had entered the building, knowing she was going to talk to the verdict, about half a block from the building, she paused and tried to take really deep breaths and try to calm herself down, and said to herself over and over, "Okay, there's nothing to be nervous about. It's just he's a verdict, so he's on your side. You can trust him, and you're just nervous because you're intimidated, but you're not intimidated. You're gonna be fine." So, flash forward. Now we're in the present. She's looking over the maps, and she sort of like realizes that she's her fingers are drumming on the table a little bit, just out of nerves. She stops and sort of puts it behind her back and tries to straighten up a little bit. He says, "Well, I think that it went okay. It sounded like Casey said they're gonna leave us alone, and they're gonna keep practicing their cult stuff, and stay, leave us alone, which was probably the best outcome we could negotiate, I think. Why? What did you think?"
He's quiet for a moment. And he says, we're in a position of limited resources. There's no way for me to make contact with any other members of the Order bring to bear anything more than what you've given me. This cult may merely be an echo, shadow of what had been before. But the power that they seek to reach once long ago shaped and changed in the face of our world. But as you'd said, and you're very right, we can't fight every battle there is to fight. The necromancer poses a very real, tangible threat to everyone. And though I worry about this cult, it is specifically my responsibility to deal with threats such as the necromancer himself. I simply worry with how thin we're spread, the dangers around us rise more quickly, and perhaps we can deal with all of them.
Sort of like triage, I guess. I mean, you're right. We have very limited resources, and I mean, not to say that this is, the most helpful thinking necessarily, but like even just tactically, it really wasn't feasible for us to try to engage with this group, either being that we don't know the strength of the enemy, the numbers of the enemy. We're underground. If something happened, we got cut off, we wouldn't be able to get back up. It'd be very easy for us to be trapped, limited resources underground. There'd be nobody to protect the surface, and it's also separated by a chasm that's about 70 feet across with a very limited way to get back and forth. So trying to start any kind of fight at this point would probably be rushing in unnecessarily risky. But yeah. So even if we needed to, I guess it's lucky that hopefully, Casey's thing worked, and I think it does, because it's hard to tell, though. I suppose he's always confident, but I'm gonna try to. He's dependable about serious stuff most of the time. I don't think that he would be exaggerating or anything too much. I think he's. So anyway, he yeah, we're gonna. I think it's probably for the best that it worked out the way that it did, even temporarily, because like you were saying, there's just us, and we got a lot we have to take care of. So, anyway, yeah.
What do your instincts tell you about the situation? What's on your mind?
Well, I guess it was a couple of things that are kind of unrelated. One of them is just, I think they're unrelated at least. So, I don't really know. I just have a really bad feeling about that fish thing, and I don't know. I think that I just wish that there was someone. I guess I'm probably wrong because everybody else seems to think that it's okay, but the feeling doesn't go away. It's just like, I feel like the thing. So, like, I don't think I could convince people to do it, but like, if I could decide, like, what we did, I don't think I would have wanted to stop fighting to begin with, but even so, like, part of me thinks that maybe we'd be better off just sealing the thing shut rather than opening it up and trying to let it go through. But that's, probably risky in and of itself because the thing is really dangerous. But I don't really have a point to all that. So I just wanted to talk about it some. And more important though, I just wanted to talk to you about something that I've been working on, because I know that your rifle is pretty powerful, but I don't exactly know how it, like, I don't know how much, I don't know how you use it. I mean, I know how you use it, but like, okay, so I figured out, obviously, I've been working really hard for a really long time, and magic has made it so that now I can do a really good job of healing. And I haven't put any effort into trying to learn things that hurt other things directly. That's not, that doesn't feel right. But kind of just as a product of learning how to put things together, I figured out something that I think um, it's kind of hard to describe, but like it can make um, something that would hurt something a lot worse. It like magnifies whatever that is. And so I'm telling you about it in case we get into a place where, you know, we really, like with the necromancer, which is, you know, who knows how far away, but I might be able to help, not to do harm myself, but to make it so that what you're doing is a lot more effective. And I was just gonna try to coordinate with you a little bit, so um, yeah, you would know that's an option, and maybe it could help, you know, stop the necromancer or something like the necromancer or something. So I don't know. Those are just the things I was thinking about.
Sounds incredibly useful. I look forward to seeing what you're able to do. Regarding the creature in the ocean, I understand your apprehension. It seems as though you have a strong feeling that you understand what's necessary to protect your friends and what's best, but they wouldn't understand why you're so concerned.
Yeah, I think so, but like I'm probably wrong because like, you know, I mean, all of them were there too, and they saw things and they were up close with it and everything. And I think it's hard for me to say I trust that instinct too much because it got it like really hurt Shalati, and I don't know, but I don't think that's it. It's not just that it hurt Shalati. It's like even when Esmond kept saying like tried to have it stop fighting, it tried to get in my head and like make me jump off the rocks into the water, and that was like after I think he was trying to get it to stop. And just the something about it's just yeah, it's just a feeling, and I don't know how trustworthy that is, you know?
Sounds like what you're feeling is more than simply being afraid of this thing. You suspect it's capable of hurting you, the people that you care about.
Yeah, and maybe even more than that. It's just, yeah, it's a really negative feeling about the whole thing. And so I just don't trust it. And I don't want to call it evil because that seems too judgmental from my exposure. I guess that's, you know, words are kind of failing. But again, you should probably like I'm glad you're here because that's what you do is like you're able to make those judgment calls. And so like if you talk to other people and like you see it, I'm sure that you'll know, you know, what the right thing to do is. And so that's why we're lucky. I guess it feels really fortunate that in some ways, you know, we're lucky to have you around for that, I think. So glad you're here for that.
I do hope so. There are, I think as you're beginning to feel, there are certain things in this world that are of such paramount danger to the lives that we lead. Being able to recognize that is important.
Stink. Oh.
Don't look at
Just
the
like
gift
a
chat.
human to believe.
Yeah. Yeah. So Ava just sort of, I guess, doesn't quite seem to understand exactly what he's saying. Maybe doesn't, and just sort of nods her head and like, yeah, yeah. Um, but anyway, then she talks to him a little bit more and tells him about a few of the things that she's been working on magically, and some of the different abilities to try to coordinate. And then, unless he has something else he wants to talk to her about specifically, she'll leave and probably think back on the conversation occasionally and play it back in her head.
Yeah, sounds good. Some hours later, that the group of you have arranged to meet back at the Wanderlust.
Sure is lonely. Oh, hey, Casey. Hey, Sal.
Doc, are you here by yourself? What are you doing?
Just drinking.
Intervention?
Araya has a slightly different arrangement to her robes, but it's not very different.
Hey Chris, what's the what's the Lux equivalent of Irish cream coffee?
Oh, interesting. Something Hakim. Be like a winter Hakim, something like that.
Yeah, let's pop a couple of those around.
Nice.
This is the same day. We're just meeting up later.
Yeah, a couple hours later.
Okay. All right. Well, I've made advancements on my work. I think I can make myself, or misspoke, make the verdict some more of those arcane bullets that he needs. So, at the very least, he doesn't have to worry about running out of ammunition immediately.
That's good. How long does it take to make them?
It takes some time. If I had to give an estimate, a couple hours a pop.
Oh, it's not bad.
That's just from me studying. However, I'll have a better idea once I actually begin crafting them.
How did the boarding up the stuff go?
Very well. Although, Ava, am I dressed like... maybe I should ask your sister, but am I, like, woefully out of style?
Oh, yeah.
Wait! This...
Wear your horn caps. Flash it up a bit.
I think that just distracts, not...
Well, yeah, I mean...
Do you want more clothes?
Flaming horn.
No, I was just thinking I could... Well, like, you see, like, I pinned it on this side instead of this side.
Oh. That didn't help. It's, like, the same. You gotta, like, really change it up. Remember, like, you guys... Like, now on Wednesdays, I wear skirts because of you guys. So, like, we have to do something like that for you.
But it still has to be...
Rhea's always wearing skirt.
Yeah, well...
Well, yeah, but, like, a big change. Like, it was a big change for me.
Well,
Like,
I was just... well, no, I'm not... maybe a big change isn't what I'm looking for. I was just thinking there would be, like, maybe a more modern way to wear robes.
This feels like a Sal conversation to have.
Okay.
maybe if you turned the robes into something more like a dress or pants and shirts, you could really change it up.
I guess the question I would have is, if you turn a robe into a pants, is it still a robe?
Sure. Yes.
I mean,
You don't sound very positive.
well, I don't know fashion necessarily. I like comfort, but like O and I, we always wear, and he kind of lifts his leg up, these loose flowing pants. I don't know if that's something that you would want necessarily to try.
Yeah, I don't see. You should just try it. I don't mean just. We have all these clothes. Just put on different ones until you find the ones that you really like that are you feel comfortable in, and otherwise,
No, I think I'll try some robe arrangements. No, new.
why?
Sal could take the sleeves off for you if you want.
Yeah,
Oh, you think that would help?
maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to take the sleeves off in the middle of winter.
It is getting really cold. Anyway,
More sleeves? Like 2 times the sleeves, maybe, would be avant-garde.
maybe. Yeah,
Well,
just talk to
maybe
Sal.
just maybe just an outer layer. I don't get as cold as easily. So I'm not I really shouldn't be talking.
That's true. You're always so close to Casey. It's never get cold. So.
Oh, so I should stand close to Casey with no sleeves on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
These
think that's what
are.
anyone said.
What was that?
Well, I get cold.
I'm saying I don't get cold because I have like a natural
Oh, right.
airflow that kind of like circulates air constantly, and
Mhm.
it kind of keeps me
How
comfortable.
can you expand that to like more than just you?
I've tried like the closest thing that I can get to is if I stand next to and I push it out, I can kind of push his heat off and around me in a small like 5-foot radius. That's about as close as I've ever gotten.
5 foot's really close. Yeah.
Do
Is that
you?
how you stay underwater without breathing? Is the same thing? Like,
No, not quite. Uh, there actually isn't a lot of literature on the uh, not genetic makeup, but
The
the
what?
abilities?
anatomy and well, more the anatomy, the bodily anatomy of how genasi, specifically air genasi, are kind of operate at and function with. Um, so all I know, I don't believe it's the airflow thing that I have that lets me hold my breath essentially forever, but more of a expanded lung type thing. I don't know. I've tried looking into it and I've never found a positive answer.
Well, Esmond, if you die, I promise to look into it.
Honestly, I actually appreciate that.
Look into you, though. That's not like look into. No,
Mm-hmm.
You know
you
what I
saw what
said?
Ava did with. That would be comforting.
It's for science.
No,
Science is comforting. Committing your body to science is how you
Oh,
want.
I'm not. I won't be using it at that point. So I mean,
No,
yeah,
but
I guess.
it's the home of your soul and sacred.
But if I die, my soul will have vacated the premises, so to speak, right?
But you hold no attachment to your mortal coil.
At the moment, I do. Yeah, sure.
But when
When I pass on, I don't think it much matters at that point.
are you sure?
Quit trying to talk him out of letting me cut him up. I'm just kidding.
Ava, that doesn't.
Esmond's not going to die, but Araya, if you want to breathe underwater, you
Mhm.
can.
Oh, I mean, I can hold my breath for quite a long time. I have a lot of experience in the baths and whatnot. I've gotten up to 3 minutes.
Yeah. So,
You're laughing. I am the, well, not that I directly compared to Sa Louise, but I am the priestess record holder for holding my breath in the bath.
see, yeah.
No, 3 minutes is really good. Yeah.
It's an entire prayer.
Mm-hmm. So, at some point, I'm sure we can figure out how to use the same kind of magic, but I've been trying it, and it's way too difficult right
And
now.
yeah.
I mean, Doc, do you really want to breathe underwater?
Yes.
No, Doc.
Well,
I mean, yeah, I just thought, well, I want to
'Cause
do that magic.
You have to really want to breathe underwater.
no, we need more scrolls to breathe underwater.
You don't need scrolls. You don't need trinkets or magic bauble.
Actively,
okay,
you
Casey.
do need
You
those things.
first, Casey. I will believe it the moment you can do it, Casey.
Fine. Let's
Please.
do it.
Yes, right now. I have a pond.
Casey goes over to the sink, places the stopper in it, turns the tap on, staring at Araya the whole time as the water fills up the sink.
She is like arms crossed, staring at him.
I'm gonna have Sal come in at this moment. Opening
He's
the
gonna
door,
be fine.
shaking
Zero
off.
danger.
Looks in, says, so what are we doing?
Holding his breath. He's
Breathing
gonna hold his
underwater.
breath underwater.
He's not gonna hold his breath. He's gonna breathe underwater.
Committing
Yes.
my body to science after I die.
That's
Also,
true.
is that weird to you or just me?
We all believe
Sal tear her sleeves off. Turns the tap off.
No, Casey, water now. I'll start the prayer.
Casey waves his hand and dunks his head down into the water and stays there,
He's not.
head submerged.
Does your hair go out?
He's under the water.
Esmond is
Yeah.
actively just holding his face in his hand, just in disbelief at this moment.
She's a little bit surprised that he even did this much, by the way. Like, Araya has been... Is the water touching him?
Hey, Araya, you should go see how he's doing over there.
No, I'm right here. I'm monitoring
Somebody
him.
ought to check for a pulse. He could die at any moment. 30 seconds is a while.
I'm gonna
Are
put
you-
my hand
are
on
you-
his back. Can I tell that he's breathing? Is he breathing?
Are you looking into the sink right now?
Yes. 100%.
So there's water coming up to Casey's neck, and his head is underneath that layer. He is not moving. Looks like he's submerged.
Is it really? She sort of puts her hand down. She puts her hand in the water. I don't trust anything.
As you put your hand through the top layer of water, it quickly comes through to the other side.
Is there a not water layer?
Where there is a pocket of air.
How? He's cheating!
That Casey's head resides in. As he shapes the water around his head. Your finger gets bitten.
She
And he comes out, kind of throws his head back in the water from that top layer, kind of splays back. See?
So easy. Hey, everyone. So, okay, not to pull attention away from O's amazing natural abilities, but what's our plan for tomorrow?
Well, walking a lot.
Yeah, I guess as soon as we'll wait for Kabeth to come back, and when she gets back, if she's seen Muna, we'll ask her about it. If she hasn't seen anything, then there's not much we can do, and I guess we either go and help if there's something that, she's in
Uh,
danger or something?
Just because Beth isn't here, somewhere in the interim, you guys heard that Muna was
Okay. Okay. Then yeah, I guess we just prepare to do the fish thing. Esmond, I really think that, okay, if we're gonna do it this way, and I know you guys are set on it, I think that we should do it where someone tells the fish thing, it has to go away, and then be for like an hour or something, like far away. And then we open the portal, and then we take the device, and we leave, and we wait, and it has like a window, and it can come back and swim in there, and then we go back and close it after it. Because if it's in the water with the device, and if you're in the water with the device when it's there, I just don't trust the creature like at all. So like I want to try to figure out a way of doing it that it doesn't have access to you or the thing that you made.
I wholeheartedly agree. That's an excellent point. It's I want to hold true to the deal that we struck with it, but I also don't trust that thing at all after it attacked us the way that it had. So I mean, when we meet up with it, we're the ones holding the cards. It has to agree to our terms if it truly wants to travel through that gateway. So I don't think that's unreasonable necessarily to offer up as a terms of agreement.
We're gonna take the boat again, or how are we gonna
Yeah, of course.
It'll be easier and not quite as cold. Taking a boat or two to travel to the portal.
Oh shit!
Granted,
do we have two boats? We had the two before one got destroyed. How many more boats do we have?
DM, how many more boats do we have?
the boats.
A boatload.
I think. No, actually, that boat didn't get destroyed. Yeah,
So
you
just
still
the
have
one?
you do have the one. Yeah.
You don't have enough room in the boat for everybody to fit.
I don't suppose that we could have had dock workers build a boat in the past 20 days for us.
No.
I mean, some will want to swim there. I mean, the waters are safer now that we've come to agreement with the fish.
Yeah, it's just gonna be really cold. The winters come on fast this year.
We can also, make it in 2 trips if necessary, but point being, no one's going to be out there alone. Knowing Shalati, she'll insist on being in the water, even though only I have to be in there, but that's fine. We can't stop her necessarily.
No one can.
No one can.
No one can.
But
Unstoppable.
But yeah, I mean, it should. If we lay out the terms and it leaves for 20, 30 minutes or backs away to a safe distance that we deem at least, give us time to open the portal, get away, and we can let it through and get everything settled. And if it decides to renege on any of our terms, we outnumber it and we'll be more prepared this time.
I guess that's the best we've got. I just don't like it.
I'm with you on that. I don't know. I've had this sneaking feeling that when we open that thing up, it's not just getting rid of it. I'm worried about things coming in from the other side.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what we'd do if that happens. We could barely handle one of those things.
Right. I mean, that's
Barely.
just so much about this. Honestly, I know you guys aren't gonna go for it, but I guess I'll just say it. I know we said we'd help it, but I kind of wish we would just close it instead of opening it at all.
I know.
But then it's stuck in our sea.
Yeah, but just one, and we didn't tear something open that leads to, a place we don't know anything about, or like Sal said, maybe more come through or something. I don't know.
But that would make us dishonorable. We made promises.
Under duress.
Under duress or not, there's I don't know. I agree with Araya's sentiment on this one. I trust me. I've thought about this deal. I've been thinking about this deal for over 20 days now. I've gone back and forth with myself on betraying it, on trying to kill it instead, shutting the portal, and just leaving it to rot on the coastline. And I just can't do it. Even if it betrays us, if it's a trap to try and let something else into our waters, which I'm still not convinced that it is based on what it communicated with us. I don't know if I'm ready to give up on that part of myself that would be willing to go back on a promise or a deal I've made, even with something as potentially horrifying as this creature.
I understand. I guess, I guess I look at it this way, like, I don't want to catastrophize, and I know that's what this example does, but like, if we opened it and we couldn't close the portal back because your device, it has that 1 in 4 chance, then we have a door that's open and no way to close it. And even the creature, I don't know, like, if that happened, I'd rather sacrifice my own honor if it meant that it would help untold numbers of people. That's just like a burden that I'd have to live with, you know?
I wouldn't be unwilling to sacrifice my honor if I didn't have backup plans. If we open the portal and something starts coming through, myself or O even have magic that would be able to blast it with lightning, which we have determined is an element that can force these portals closed. Maybe it wouldn't be
Yeah.
enough to close it, but it would be enough to zip it up enough to prevent anything from coming through.
We would have to be fully submerged while you're doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that
Yeah.
underwater?
AC.
The point is, any of these negotiations that we go into, we're not going into them from a position of weakness, helplessness. Whether it's the priest or the fish or anything else we face. We don't need to worry or fear or cower.
I'm afraid because we can't breathe underwater again, and was like, if I go underwater, I can't heal anybody. It'll just be in freezing water, and I'll just be a burden to everyone else.
If things turn bad, it's just a matter of getting anybody out of the water and avoiding any fights in the water. I can move relatively quickly in the water. I can move faster when I cast magic on myself. This is not an ideal situation in any way, but it's something that we have to follow through on, and whether it turns disastrous or not, we have to be ready for whatever that might look like. So maybe prepping for the worst case scenario is the smartest option. It's never a poor idea to have backup plans for your backup plans.
Yeah, you're probably right. I don't know. I just don't. I just got a really bad feeling about the whole thing. So, but you're probably right, Casey and Esmond. You guys are all probably right.
I don't know if I'm right. I'm confident in the device that I've built and the magic that I currently possess. I don't know if that's enough necessarily, but it's gonna have to suffice for now.
All right. Well, head out first thing in the morning, I guess.
And if all goes well, we won't have to sacrifice our honor or our lives. Turned out great, right, Casey?
It always does. Esmond, you have to talk louder.
It didn't
Yeah,
come through.
you're muted.
Oh, it came out.
Sorry about that. As we're traveling, I'll teach a few of you how to operate the device as a precaution. It's better that at least one of us, at least one other person besides me, knows how to use this thing. And we'll have the verdict with us as well. So that's an extra punch of power in our favor.
Casey should definitely be one of those people. He can breathe underwater.
So talented. Actually, though, a little small bubble. How long can you breathe in a bubble?
Long enough.
Never mind.
Never mind. Oh, never mind.
Just for my own final bit of clarity, a couple of if-then scenarios. If you go to open that portal, your device doesn't work and it explodes, then we immediately attack or wait for its response?
Tell it
If-
we're going back to the drawing board.
Oh boy. If it explodes, it's still going to release whatever energy setting it is set at. So if it is set to release energy that is designed to open the portal, that energy will still be released and it will open the portal further, and vice versa for closing it as well. If it is destroyed, we can try and negotiate with the creature. It entirely depends on how it reacts, I suppose. There's no reason for us to attack it immediately. We don't want it in our oceans necessarily, but we also don't want to fight it. I don't want to fight it. He touches his neck a little bit. I don't want to fight it again, at least. If it explodes, that's it. I can't build the device again without a sunstone. So if it's destroyed, we would have to find another one of those for me to make something of equivalent capabilities.
All right, so 1 in 4 chance of that happening, but if that, then negotiate first. Okay. If something comes through as soon as you open it, then we...
If something comes through, that's where O is going to be at the ready. He's going to need to be on top of the water at the very least to be able to throw that lightning at it and shut the portal. The reason I feel as confident as I do currently in what this creature wants from us is that there is no evidence of anything else having come through. At least not of the same size as this creature. Nothing, no evidence immediately, at least. Which leads me to think that if there are other creatures on the other side, nothing can get through. Even though they might be able to communicate with one another, nothing can get through at this moment. So if we open the portal enough and something immediately starts to come through, O then has to launch a counterattack and immediately shrink the portal back down and prevent whatever's trying to get through from coming through.
Yeah, no problem. But the hard part of all this is already done. We've already negotiated with the creature, accepted the terms of its retreat. So we'll send it on its way. No problem.
Maybe not refer to it as a retreat, just so we don't potentially offend it. But yeah, we've essentially jumped the massive hurdle of actually getting it to agree to the immediate terms.
All right, I'm comfortable with it. We only have a couple of seconds if one of those things happened, and I wanted to make sure I was on the same page.
Yeah, I mean, I know it may seem fishy to you guys, but let's not jump the shark here with conspiracy theories. It's gonna go smoothly. So, let's not make waves.
Oh, that's the last if then. The one that's going to happen, right? The third if then is if everything goes perfectly and we open the portal and it just sails on through. We just hang around for a little while, then you close it back up.
And that's how it'll go.
So,
Doc, if you're still concerned, Casey looks down at one of the pouches on his belt and reaches down in there and pulls out a small black ball, shakes it, turns it up, shows it to her. It says, "That's how it's gonna go."
Oh, well, I mean, for all that it was a joke, this thing has never once been wrong.
Well, I guess I can't argue with the ball.
Good then. I need some sleep, I think.
Okay, we'll head out in the morning with everybody, I guess, and, yep, we'll talk about it. We got plenty of time on the hike up there. Is there anything we're forgetting?
I feel like we are, and I have no fucking idea.
We'll check with the others before we head that way.
Okay.
That would probably be ideal, yeah. Yeah, Esmond's gonna grab a mug of Hakim to go and head back to the workshop, work on more arcane bulletry.
So as you all begin to settle in for the evening, cold wind blows through the streets of Shepherd's End. You feel it shake the windows just a bit and hear the howling outside. You see the snow coming down. Probably that night, Chibi needs to pull an extra blanket to stay warm. And tomorrow you'll leave. to the coast to again face the beast. Yeah, that's where we'll end. What's up?
Yay.
It's gonna go great. It's gonna go so well.
Yeah. How can it not?
The ball has never been wrong.
If tonight tonight sets the precedence. Tonight we know that moving forward everything is going to be successful.
Everything, every time.
We were so
Yeah.
successful, we didn't even have to roll dice.
No, it was. I mean, when things are like just rote, they're so simple. DM doesn't make you roll for that. So clearly,
This was
Also, I was gonna say visually the Muna feathered Stegosaurus / Triceratops theme was probably my favorite.
I can't stop calling them dinosaurs. I'm so sorry. It's like, I can't stop. I live in a house of like pro dinosaur fans. So I'm very stoked.
Hey, was the undertone of racism on purpose?
Yeah. That you're asking Chris, I assume, because yeah.
Yeah.
Can't answer
Like
that.
between Ava and the
Yeah. It was
Oh,
so hard.
yeah.
It was so hard not to break characters. Chris was doing that and he was talking about the things that could threaten or whatever, and I was like, yeah, the non-human, like just to go like lean into it, just as a joke. And I was like, I can't do that. I really want to as just the hilarious, but I couldn't.
No, I love it. I love it. I've
Yeah,
been
ever
drawing
since that
a
speed was
small
pulled.
toga fashion show that Araya will eventually have with Sal. There will be some rejected designs.
Once you convert us all to your cult, we'll have to wear those uniforms, so they have to.
Only if you become a priest. It's different. You can follow the maiden and never once wear or follow any of the edicts that are governing the priests. That's ridiculous.
It's all
All
about the
protagonists are going to.
it's all about the tall hats. It's just the tall hats.
all the better.
Actually, a thought just occurred to me, and I don't know if this is something that you clarified previously at all. Are there any men in the temple? It's all women.
As the current high priestess, you can change that.
It could be priestess scissors.
Male priestesses.
Meests.
Here you guys are giving me so much crap for being in. Look at what their temple is, so exclusionary. I'm just saying.
Well, no one is lining up at the door to become a priestess. I don't think we've ever had a man come.
Casey was for a short time.
Receive the list of doctrines expected of
That's
their
a weird
order.
pause there, Jess.
Well, like, maybe there was interest, but then they, like, learned what would be expected of them and their, like, duties, and they're like,
Percentage
know.
of fallen orphans raised into the maiden service from birth.
that was me. It's not every maiden.
Just you.
They had to, like,